get on the phone. But yeah, William said he might be running a few minutes late, but I got a bunch of texts from him about 2:30 today. I already sent him the link to the stream, but he sent me a bunch of texts this morning about rules that his family might have with the stream, and that's fine.
Because I just tried to got on my TV, try to get the NFL Network, and my TV said, "Hey, no internet connection." So I go hard restart the account.
Yeah. So William saw the stream, but I'm guessing he's still on his phone call. That's the only reason I can think of as to why he wouldn't be here on the live stream. He's probably still dealing with whatever he needs to deal with.
That's why he's not here.
And, oh man, the mascots are... A few years ago, they had a mascot race at the Senior Bowl. And the only mascot that took a picture with me was the TCU Horned Frog, Super Frog, and that was the mascot that won the mascot race. They're not doing the mascot race this year. This year, the Clemson mascot and the Western Kentucky mascot have Star Wars lightsabers, and they're dueling with them, and it's like, what the fuck? It's like, really? What does this have to do with a football game? I know the Western Kentucky mascot's goofy. I didn't think the Hilltopper was that goofy.
Yeah, we've all heard about the prospects and how they now it's about how they look. Guess what? Those guys that are in the costumes, they get their chance to shine too.
Yep. And you look at this game. I feel like it's a weaker Senior Bowl than previous years. You feel like it's a stronger Senior Bowl.
From Mobile, Alabama. Are they not sunburned?
And Mike Green, he had a really good week at practice, the Marshall defensive end, 12.5 sacks. Good tape against Ohio State. There's Zabel, the guy you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it's like I'm interested. I'm looking forward to what these guys do in a game.
You know, the eye coming on with Joey was at 1% when we started at noon. It is now at 51%. The iPhone is at 20%. I'm probably going to charge the phone the very second Joey calls me and William joins the show. So just saying, that's incredible progress by the iPad, because that's incredible progress by the iPad, though, because the iPad was at 1% when I started on TalkShoe, and it's at 51%. Usually it moves very slowly. The charger moves very slowly. Can I finish, please? The charger moves very slowly when I'm doing a podcast. The charger, if I'm just charging the iPad and I'm not doing anything else, it moves a lot faster. If I'm doing a podcast on TalkShoe, it takes a lot longer for it to get to 100%. It usually only takes an hour or two to get from 1 to 100.
Here's the thing. Zabel is being featured on NFL Network.
So is Riley Leonard.
That says a little something. That says a little something because, you know, NFL teams and NFL Network, you know, they're locking arms.
Yep. That's true, and we're going to see all these ads. Oh, yeah, and if you guys have never watched any of the Super Bowls, they re-air every Super Bowl on NFL Network from one to the other number, like right after NFL Game Day Finals. So I think 6:30 is when Super Bowl I is going to re-air, but they re-air all the Super Bowls back to back. I got up to like Super Bowl 20, I think, last year before I fell asleep.
I've seen them all. I've seen them all.
But it's like a yearly tradition at NFL Network.
It is so fun to watch those games, and everybody thinks that the spectacle is so great for Super Bowls these days. But if they watch a Super Bowl from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, mind will be blown. Mind will be blown as to what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Mind will be blown. I just leave it at that.
Yep.
Most Super Bowls today, as far as presentation goes, could not match what they did back in the day. Now, the Super Bowl halftime show, which was basically a Dre, Dr. Dre, honorary night, was all the people that Dre helped turn into megastars. That was an outlier as compared to what was normally done, because that was one of the greatest. That was up there with Queen in the 1985 Farm 8 is the greatest 20-minute concert I've ever seen.
Brandon Saad, who was one of the top 6 forwards on the St. Louis Blues, got cut, and the Vegas Golden Knights have just signed Brandon Saad to a 1-year, $1.5 million deal. Got him that cheap? I mean, come on. There's other teams that should have been offering him more money. Not like more than $2 million, but $1.5 million. That is ridiculously cheap. I mean, we could have got him for $2 million. Dallas could have got him for $2 million.
I'll play for $1.5 million. I don't even care what the sport is. You give me $1.5 million, I'll be playing for it.
Yeah, Brandon Saad. That's what he's getting. With the Vegas Golden Knights. So Mahomes has 5 Super Bowl appearances before the age of 30, besting Brady, Elway, Aikman, Bob Greasy, and Ben Roethlisberger, who each had 3 before the age of 30. Oh, Sky Moore returned to practice today. This means the Chiefs have designated him to return from the injured reserve. So the Chiefs might put Sky Moore on their Super Bowl roster. I'm not sure what it was, but he got placed on injured reserve. Well, now that you have Hopkins, Marquise Brown, and Xavier Worthy, even if Sky Moore comes back, his role is going to be very minimal. Maybe he's used in a similar capacity as a Justin Watson or a Marquez Valdes-Scantling on a few plays, but his role is going to be very minimal at best. I mean, you could understand the thought process of playing him as a rookie and playing him last year, but playing him this year doesn't really make a lot of sense with the roster you have. But kickoff's about to start at the Senior Bowl. William will be joining us shortly. He did give a thumbs up. He said you can hop on whenever you're ready. See, if you criticize the Bills for saying, you criticize the refs for saying Josh Allen was short, but you don't criticize the refs.
We may have just been introduced to a guy that's going to be a 5-star recruit here in a few years. Major Ventrone, Boba Ventrone's nephew. He's 13 right now, but they just said on NFL Network he is highly sought after as a Brian Urlacher type player. So that maybe in 4 years we may be looking back at this report. So just keep that in mind when we have forgotten about it 100%. I know we're gonna forget about it, Chris, but we gotta mention it now, so it'll be in the back of our minds. And when he comes up, it's like, oh yeah, we know this guy. If we don't know this guy, we know this guy, and then we can look him up, and then we can work with him. Just saying. You don't seem convinced.
I'm not venting. I'm looking at the. There was a play in the AFC Championship where the Bills got away with a face mask. It wasn't called. And my point was, if you're going to criticize Josh Allen, if you're going to criticize the refs for not giving Josh Allen the first down, and you don't criticize the Bills for the face mask they got away with, you're a hypocrite because you're not being fair towards the game. You're being biased towards the game. That was what I was going to say. But the Senior Bowl started.
I'm actually looking at the game just started.
Yeah, the Senior Bowl game has just started.
They
so
just started to kick off. It got about the 20-something yard line, 20 and a couple yards. And number 8 for the national team from Oklahoma. No, it's Oklahoma, but it's Dylan Gabriel. He's Oklahoma. Or he's Oregon. Why had the Oklahoma logo on the side of someone? I don't have any idea. And Zabel is also on the impact player. Harold Fannin, arguably the best tight end in the draft. Impact player.
I don't think he's the best. I have Zabel at 18th among the tackles. I think he's the 18th best tackle out of 20. I get it. He had a good week, and I know a lot of people have him in their top 50.
Fannin?
Not Fannin, Zabel. Zabel. I thought you said Zabel. I'm sorry. I thought you said Zabel. That's on me. But
no, you're good. You're good.
Ole Gordon got a carry, though. You might be a few seconds ahead of me. I'm at 12:49 first quarter. So I don't know if you are.
Gordon, I've been hearing a lot about, and the fact that he is a lot more. He's a lot more like Nick Chubb, and the fact that he gets his big plays off his initial burst, but he's not as fast. But he is built like a freaking brick house, and he's bigger than you think. So he just gets his thing from, I'm getting to the line faster than you, and I'm making the one cut.
And Woody Marks, I think that's Joquan Marks, the former Mississippi State back who had the first down for the American national team.
Yeah, national team's got the ball first.
Yes, and
oh shit.
I'm saying when it comes to any game.
34. Jones from number 34, LSU, I think is his helmet.
I think you're ahead of me because I'm at 11:55 now. I think you're a few plays ahead of me.
No, I'm actually at 12 something. I'm at 12.
Okay, so I'm a few plays ahead of you. I need to shut my mouth then. All right.
Yeah, it's like I'm just. These defensive linemen.
They do look good.
This is what I've been hearing about all week. These defensive linemen are some of the best they've ever seen in the Senior Bowl. And they are dominant. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. And we're seeing the play calling, quick, get the ball out of the quarterback's hands, delays, make sure these defensive linemen don't get to the quarterback. And if they do, they're screwed. Because these defensive linemen are
another third down conversion for Dylan Gabriel. I'm not going to say who it was to. I already saw the play. I saw it develop, but since Joey's a few seconds behind me this time around, I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Because even if you tell me,
I think it was Jaden Higgins.
And I'm going to be able to analyze
it. It was Higgins who caught the third down conversion, by the way.
Oh, damn. That was a really nice cutback. Who was it that made that cutback?
The running back, I think it was Joquan Marks, the USC running back.
Yeah, because that was he. Yeah, it was Marks. He was on the outside. He saw that he was going to get tackled for a loss, and he just planted his foot and freaking shot inside and ended up getting like 3 or 4 yards. That was nice.
Oh, boy. I'm not going to say what happens
Estrepo?
next. It's huge, though.
Estrepo? That was... No, it's Higgins. Jaden Higgins. Iowa State. That was just a nice route. It was just a nice route.
Okay, you're going to be blown away once you get to the 9-minute mark. You're going to be blown away by what happens. It's
Damn, you're almost 2 minutes ahead of me.
It's like a Philly special type play. I'm not going to say what happens, but it's like a Philly special type play. It's a really cool trick play. You'll see it when you get to it.
Gordon with a strong run. It was only 2 yards, but he got hit by those linemen that I've been speaking so highly about, and he just powered through those guys. You know, it's like it showed a little bit of power from him. Okay, Ollie Gordon at that point may have just taken his draft stock up a little bit because and what the hell? How did the way he threw that ball? It was just like I'm trying to. He had some. I've heard that he was a quarterback. He quarterbacked a little bit in high school, but
interesting.
Interesting pass.
Yes, I've got a news on a potential NHL trade. San Jose Sharks center Mikael Granlund, who led the Sharks in points last year before they drafted Macklin Celebrini, could be getting traded to the Dallas Stars on a rental. So that is according to Kevin Weeks, the insider at ESPN who leaks the NHL trades. That's according to Weeks that Granlund could be heading to Dallas, and that happens right after Vegas gets Brandon Saad. So we're starting to see some more dominoes in these trade rumors move for NHL. But it's a commercial. That's the only reason I brought it up.
Yeah, they just said Arroyo from maybe a first-round pick.
Arroyo,
what do you think about it?
Eric Arroyo, the Miami tight end, he had a good week in Mobile. No, Eric Arroyo's a tight end. He's not a receiver. Arroyo's a tight end.
Okay, because I just saw his number was, so I thought they were having him a wide receiver.
He's a tight end.
Okay, so they screwed up the numbers and made me think that they converted him to wide receiver.
Yep.
Oh, wonderful. Screwing with me. But yeah, it's like I'm not sure about first round though. I think he's third or fourth tight end. Very good tight end, but I wouldn't say first round tight end.
Yeah, he's not a first round tight end.
I'd still say Fannin. Yeah, Fannin, in my opinion, is still the number one tight end. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're showing the formations, no blitzing. But they are showing the formations that you can use. 10-play, 77-yard drive. And Ole Gordon, he threw a touchdown to Higgins. That was amazing. That you saw now, right? Or am I still a few?
Oh yeah. It was a hell of a play. I think Higgins is having a heck of a show right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he caught the 2-point conversion. He caught the touchdown. I think he had another catch.
He had another catch
earlier.
before the touchdown from Gabriel on the third down conversion, I believe.
Yeah, Higgins right now is just showing. Higgins right now is just showing off as the best receiver at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. And Riley Leonard is going to get the start for the American team over both Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe. That's an interesting decision.
Riley Leonard, I heard this morning, Riley Leonard may be one of those backups that is a guy that is brought in to do quarterback sneak and maybe a trick play initially, but could develop into a very good backup in the NFL. I have not heard anything so far that would suggest that he would have any.
I only think there's three guys that could develop into starters. Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, maybe Quinn Ewers. I think everybody else, whether it's Dart, Milroe, they could be high-end backups, but I think they're closer to high-end backup than potential starter. They could develop into starters, but we'll see.
From what I understand, Quinn Ewers has been pissing people off because he is so inconsistent with what he does.
Yeah.
That coaches and scouts are really frustrated.
But this is the thing. Jackson Dart fumbled the ball 3 times on Tuesday, and Jalen Milroe's hands are only a half-inch bigger than Donald Trump's. So they're smaller than Goff's.
Yeah.
They're only a half-inch bigger than Trump's. I think that will be why he ends up falling to round 3, Milroe. But I don't know.
I've heard a couple other names, but I will reserve those because I think it's too early to judge them. So I'm not going to put it out.
Same could be said with Will Howard. Will Howard is one of those names, but he ended up withdrawing from the Senior Bowl due to Ohio State's playoff. Yeah.
I will say Dart. I will put Dart out there as somebody that people are really high on right now.
Yeah.
So I will give you that. I will give you Dart to, feed you a little bit. Give you a little nibble.
Yeah, Jackson Dart didn't just have the best day on Thursday. He had the best performance. Apparently, the Senior Bowl went to Topgolf. They had a party at Topgolf. There was a Topgolf in Mobile, Alabama on Friday. That's where they went, and Jackson Dart had the best golf swing at the Topgolf party on Friday afternoon before the parade.
Yeah, I heard that the big thing they love about Jackson Dart is that they will not have to teach him any type of fundamentals. He is fundamentally sound. They just need to teach him the nuances of the game. But fundamentally sound-wise, I've been hearing they love his fundamentals. Agree with me. If I agree with them, doesn't matter. That's just what I'm hearing from the Senior Bowl.
It's just merely speculation at this point. I mean, what's going to happen with some of these guys? A lot of it's just merely speculation.
But the Senior Bowl is going on right now, so we have to,
we have to have those discussions. We do. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Trevor Etienne just got fucking eaten by Alexander. Alexander just ate that guy. Just picked him up, threw him into the ground. It was just lunch. Darius Alexander out of Toledo.
Yeah, Darius Alexander.
He's about him from practice. I and really manhandle.
He wasn't even the best player on Toledo. Toledo had a safety who had over 100 tackles, who was also at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, it's like, Toledo had a great defensive line. So, we're not gonna go with that. If Toledo wasn't in the MAC, these guys would probably be talked about a hell of a lot more than they are right now.
That's true. I mean, Toledo, Northern Illinois is leaving the MAC and going to the Mountain West. You hear about that?
Yeah.
And I told William in Thursday's practice that North Carolina is currently the top option for the SEC at the moment, and that's mainly due to Belichick going there for conference realignment. So North Carolina, but they want NC State to come with them. They're not demanding Duke comes with them or Virginia, but they want NC State, their in-state rival, to go with them, or they're going to stay in the ACC.
Oh yeah, and it's like you're not going to break up that rivalry. Hell no.
I wish they would. If North Carolina goes to the ACC, I want them to take Duke with them, because the best rivalry all time in college basketball will get ruined if Duke stays in the ACC and North Carolina goes to the SEC. They won't play each other as frequently, and that'll suck from a college basketball standpoint. That'll suck.
But at the same time, want to make it more special?
I guess it would if they did play again.
Play in big time positions, big time games.
Maybe. And they're going to commercial. I think that was the fumble that you just saw. I'm going to check.
Yeah, because I've heard so much about Arian Smith, about how well he's done this week. And
yeah, Williams texting me about Higgins.
Good. I love that commentary. The officials are going to get together and like somebody else is somewhere watching it. Figure it out.
Awesome. So Williams already sharing the live stream on the Under the Bleachers group. Even though he hasn't joined us yet, he's already sharing the live stream. Thank you. We appreciate it.
And Castro's a guy I've been hearing a good bit about this week. He made the play. He did a hell of a job. He's had a good showing so far in the game. So let's see if it works. As I sit here and debate wanting pizza. Little Caesars is not helping me right now.
Little Caesars, I've had Little Caesars pizza in the past. It's good. But the Little Caesars by me that was in a Kmart closed down, and the Kmart became something else. But yeah, when I first got support.
I hated that. Because that was one of my favorite parts of Kmart. One, you could do layaway. Two, you could shop. And three, you could get freaking lunch. And it wasn't freaking McDonald's. And that really irritates me. Because Kmart, and it's all Kmart's own fault. Because let's face it,
there used to be a McDonald's in the Walmart by my mom's house, but they took that down and replaced it with a KFC. There's a Subway by the Walmart I'm at, so I have been spared from having to endure McDonald's.
Yeah, I did a paper about this in college about Kmart's bankruptcies, and one of the big things I thought was that I brought from it was they did not update their style. You know, it was 2005, 2006. They were going at it like it was 1982.
A lot of the stores that failed in the 2000s did not update their online websites, and they relied on in-store sales. Kmart, Radio Shack, Circuit City were all victims of this. They all relied on their in-store sales versus online retail, and that's why they all failed. That's the truth, Joey.
Well, this was beyond. This was before the online retail thing really took off.
Okay.
This was just we failed as a retailer, and we did not adapt to the new age. And by the time they did, and with the retail and everything online and everything, it was way too late. It was just too late.
Yeah, but some people say Amazon and the online retail boom began in 2001, but it feels like it didn't begin until 2006 or 2007. I get you, though. I get what you're saying, though.
It's like, it did. It's like, we barely cared about Amazon in 2001. 2001, Amazon did not matter. They did not make a flip. It wasn't until about 2004, 2005 when Amazon finally really started making a presence.
So, some people say people cared about Amazon in $2.99, but I would argue that they really didn't care until 2001.
No, it's like Amazon got started around 99. But, you know, if you want that, Google was...
Okay, William's here. Perfect.
Superior at that point.
Awesome. All right, so...
William, Google or Amazon in 1999, which one was it?
I don't know, but yeah, Senior Bowl, the American team's going to get the football back. Welcome in, William. Thanks for sharing the show. How have you been, man? Okay, the volume's on. So the volume, I don't know. Cameras. Okay, so I think there's some technical stuff on William's end, but they're showing Panini rookie cards during the commercial of last year's first round picks.
That was really dumb. Gabriel should have, he was slow in his decision making, and then when he flushed out of the pocket, he made a dumb decision that should have been intercepted.
William?
How about now?
I hear you, William.
Do you want me to call into...
Yeah, sure. You can call into the phone if you want.
Okay.
I'll still be on TalkShoe with the podcast at 60%, and the phone, I'll charge the phone. But yeah, Joey will call in through the phone, and then we'll comment on the Senior Bowl. They're in a commercial. It's 8-0 right now. Only score came on an Ole Gordon trick pass to Jaden Higgins, but it was a big play that put the national team ahead. And, you know, we'll see what happens here, because I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, William, with the Senior Bowl so far.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I hear you perfectly, William. I hear you. I heard you before that too.
Yeah. It was headset that was off. Sorry, guys. New computer. So how's it going,
No
Christopher?
worries, man. It's going good, William.
I saw that play, bro. That was badass. Higgins was running some good routes the other day in practice.
William, what do you think about the Senior Bowl so far?
Well, you know, I mean, come out there and you see Ollie Gordon do something. I mean, he was supposed to do something, you know, this whole season, but you know, I think that was kind of a team thing that they had going on. at Oklahoma State, so but yeah, it's definitely been interesting so far. I didn't figure they'd be pulling a trick that soon.
Yeah, exactly. And false start penalty for the American team pushes them back here. It's 1st and 15. Riley Leonard going to get another drive. I think both quarterbacks have had 2 possessions, but I think we'll probably see the next QBs on the next drive after this. We'll probably see the QBs on the next. We'll probably see some new personnel on the next drive after this. And Travis Etienne, he is stopped. Tackle for a loss by number 20 on the. I don't know who that was. Was that Jackson? Keandre Jackson?
Well, Chris, the same problem people have with Trevor Etienne is the same problem they have with his brother. He can't keep hold of the ball.
Yeah.
In Florida's last game, he fumbled the ball twice. In big time situations.
Yep.
So it's the same issue with he and his brother. Dynamic, fast, can't keep hold of the ball.
And what a good throw by Riley Leonard to make that throw under pressure.
Riley Leonard, we can put all the criticism we want against him, but I heard something I used with Nick Folks years ago. Did he play the way he played because he couldn't, get the job done otherwise, which is what you argue? I said, no, I've seen enough to know that he can do it, but the offense he was in did not allow it. So, and I'm looking at Riley Leonard right now questioning because I haven't seen enough from him either way to say one thing or another. So, Chris, what say you? Does he play the way he played at the coaching specifically, or does he play the way he plays because he can't do anything else?
As far as the game goes, I would argue Riley Leonard's done a decent job on this drive, but they're going to go to the second quarter. I'm wondering if there's going to be a change at QB. I'm wondering if they're going to change the QBs for the second quarter, and they're going to let Jackson Dart play this next drive, or Jalen Milroe. Is one of them going to get an opportunity to play? Because they usually do the QB changes in the second quarter.
And William, what do you think about that?
Well, like I said before with Riley Leonard, I literally stopped my evaluation twice because I mean it just wasn't exciting enough, watching him play. He is an excellent runner. He is everything for that, and obviously getting the start here, he he deserves that, since he took, his team Notre Dame to the national championship, and but yeah, I mean, other than that, I can't say too much because, without sounding however, or, uninformed, he just I think he definitely has the potential to be a backup in the NFL. I mean, his legs do that, his experience does that, all the way from Duke, to going through the transfer portal.
Okay, the American team called a timeout to avoid a QB change, to avoid a rundown at the end of the quarter.
But here's the thing, Chris. As you said, I was seeing the same thing. Riley Leonard was, before the timeout was called, he was changed up to play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that does show a little bit of growth from what he was doing in Notre Dame. So, we're going to give Riley Leonard a little bit of credit.
And I've got an update on the Mikel Gronlund trade that Kevin Weeks reported. Not only is Gronlund heading to Dallas, but so is San Jose's best defenseman Cody Ceci in exchange for a first-round pick from Dallas and a third-round pick, which becomes a fourth if the Stars fail to reach the Stanley Cup Finals this year. And the Stars don't have a second-round pick, so if the Stars make the Stanley Cup, they will not have a pick until the end of the fourth round of this year's NHL draft. Jim Miller really is going all in, and I don't think they're done making trades either. That's, from what I've heard, they're not done making trades. But Gronlund, San Jose's leading point scorer from 23-24, and Cody Ceci, who they got this offseason, both heading to Dallas on rentals for a first and third round pick. Could be a fourth if Dallas reaches the Cup.
Leonard just misfired on a wide open receiver on a quick fade. So for some reason they kept the clock rolling. I don't know if that's a Senior Bowl thing.
Yeah. They kept the clock rolling because they called a timeout to stop the clock. But we'll see what happens here.
Okay.
And now they're showing a tribute to Jakub Wisniewski during the commercials.
Larry Campbell. Larry Campbell, then Wisniewski. Wisniewski. Yeah, Wisniewski was. Oh, he is 5 years younger than I am. That's sad.
Yep.
He didn't even have, it's like, he didn't even really have time to live life. Because when you're working at an organization like that, that means you've been straight line, straight edge for a long time. Whereas I was never that way. So I lived a lot more. He did not get to live that type of life. That would have come later in life. So he wouldn't even have had a chance really to live because he was focusing on his career.
Yeah.
And so that is really sad that he reached his career goals, but probably never reached all the personal goals he wanted. So I definitely feel bad for his loss and for his family. Because definitely, he deserved to get everything he wanted, everything that came to him, and he wasn't able to get it. He just didn't have enough years.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that happened.
Really? Thoughts are with his family.
They're taking a long time with these commercials, but I'm glad Gronlund and Gronlund and Cody Cece are now on Dallas. I'm glad to hear that, because the reason the Dallas was able to get the cap space to make these trades was because Sagan and Nils Lundqvist are on LTIR. But if we get Sagan and we get Miro back for the playoffs, and we have this team, we're going to be even deeper than last year, which is scary with these two trades, CC and Cody Cece and Mikael Gronlund. Cody Cece was on the Oilers' third line when they made the Cup last year, but second quarter's underway.
If these commercials for pizzas don't stop, I'm gonna go get pizza. And if I'm not back in time,
I might do the same thing. I might order some pizza Americana at halftime with the way this is going, because it's like this is getting really ridiculous that the commercials are this long. And
not only that, but the commercials are about this much pizza. I mean, every commercial, there's at least one pizza commercial. I mean, I think a couple days ago there were two, or a couple episodes ago there were two pizza commercials.
Yeah.
If one setting is like, dude, if you're trying to get us to buy pizza, fine, stop. You made your point.
Why would I order Pizza Hut when I can order pizza from one of the smaller business chains? Like Pizza Americana's got a really good seafood pizza, and there's another pizza chain that has like a fisherman's pizza has crab on it, which is really good too. And they're both local businesses. I would rather buy pizza from one of the local businesses than buy Pizza Hut, because Pizza Hut does not have a seafood flavored pizza. Like that's kind of a deal breaker for me, because I love seafood pizzas. They're so good.
It's just all the fact that they are pushing pizza down our throat right now.
I get it. Pepperoni's the most popular flavor, and Riley Leonard is freaking sacked on 3rd and 20. Junior Tafuna, the Utah defensive tackle that William and I have talked about, he made the sack here.
I've heard some good things about him coming out of the season.
And he won the one-on-one against Clay Webb in order to sack the QB. That's not an easy thing to do.
Absolutely not.
So
Clay Webb is another one that they've been talking about that potentially play alternate position on the interior.
yeah.
So getting past him, that's impressive.
Yeah. So big win for Tafuna, and the national team is going to get the ball back with the 8-point lead.
You know, I did not know Landon Jackson was that big. 6'5", 275 pounds.
Yeah, that's why I said he's a 4-3 defensive end.
I thought he was like 6'2", 270. I didn't know he had that extra inch and 5 pounds.
Yeah, he's 6'5". I mean, I've known that since the beginning of the year, but I thought he was only 270, 275. But yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that is.
It's always food commercials. It's either a pizza commercial or a Reese's Lava Cup commercial. Have you noticed this, Joey? It's either a pizza commercial or a Reese's commercial.
Oh, yeah, I've noticed. I'm not a big fan of Reese's these days because I just don't eat candy bars.
I'll eat Reese's Pieces if I'm going to the movies, but that's about it. I do not buy the peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
This time, you walked by my house. I was there.
I'm a food addict.
Yeah,
I will admit it. Yeah.
William, what's up, man? It sounds like you're on your phone call. Are you on your phone call, man? Yeah.
Will these people stop talking about food?
I think William's handling whatever he's handling behind the scenes, so just let him worry about that. Yeah, they're showing that
he went around the other way. I happened to see his white vehicle. I didn't get a thought of next to make sure to get left, but it was dead. But It's 100 yards right now. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's good to know because I thought that you would fall in with the commercials, and I thought you were ordering pizza.
I think William might be handling something personal off the air while he's on the stream, but I don't know. I'm not really going to ask that.
Well, ordering pizza is kind of personal.
It's probably right around that area.
You gotta go with it.
I'm not sure.
It's a personal thing. It's not from the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he can go around. So that's, but he can go west.
There is a Browns coach on the sideline that Jim Nagy is being interviewed by.
Trying to annoy me into doing something, saying something. I would shit out of my dog the other day. Walked by with the dog. This guy doesn't have a dog. And I'm disabled. I was out front, and my dog took off. You know, I thought there was smelling out, but I'm not sure what. But he kicked the shit out of it, and I expected to say something. He wasn't protecting himself. This dog is a 10-year-old pit bull that was just going out there to see the dogs he had with him. He could squeeze past me because I'm disabled. There's only one way in and out of my yard, my stairs, and he just happened to squeeze past me. I don't know. This guy has been doing all kinds of stuff. You know, it's been a setup. You know, he's assaulted me twice, and then landed on me because he's gone and told all the neighbors I was taking pictures of her daughter. Well, this kid, you know, what we were going on by the first place. That never happened. You know, and he went around and told the whole neighborhood that, so they think of some kind of child molester. So he got neighbor across the street from him to help jump me because first time he assaulted me, he drove by and freaking screamed at me and threw up.
I think William's dealing with something personal, Joey. That's why I muted him. I don't. If he was talking about football, but he's talking about because somebody's been William told me somebody's harassing him on in his neighborhood, and if it's a personal matter, I don't want that to conflict with our podcast.
Yeah, it's like I was trying to concentrate on.
And I don't think it's William's fault. I think whoever he contacted earlier in the week about his situation's probably here while he's on the live stream, and is just in an awkward position where he's just gotta.
Here it is, and
we'll get back to you, and we'll have his support. We will get back to him, but we'll let him get his hand.
To go also deal with this, I mean that is fine. We will have no problem with that. Life happens.
Yeah, things happen.
Yeah, so we will have no problem, you know, supporting him, you know, in any way we can.
Yeah, we will support him in any way we can. Tyler Show is in for the national team, though. He is getting some reps here.
And I heard something earlier this week from, I forget what scout it was, what team it was from, but they put out an analysis of Jim Nagy. They said he was one of the most intelligent scouts they'd ever encountered.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is that a stop
I
by the American team?
love Shaw's fundamentals
Yeah.
right there in those practice clips. That he looked good.
Yeah.
It's like, could he be one of those risers that go in the third or fifth round that you really look at?
Yeah.
Okay, give it to Shaw, let him go to the thing on a fourth down. Let him do his thing. Oh, hell, here goes Bell. Well, don't go on offense. I gave big boy going on. I'm not sure how I feel about Bubba Van Turen right now. He's wearing the Cleveland Browns hat that has the elf on it rather than the helmet. The fact that he is going with the elf makes me question some things. Chris is happily texting away. Well, I'm trying to get.
Actually, I'm texting Jason. We got into like an argument about the AFC title, but now I'm going to text William now to find out what's going on because I did unmute him during the commercials to see if he's okay or what's going on.
Okay, yeah, because I still haven't heard him, but yeah. As long as William's doing all right, that's, I'm not too worried about the podcast. Sometimes real life is more important.
Yeah, exactly. If he's got some stuff he's got to do, we can wait.
Some of these people sucking is not exactly worth talking about. If
was that Dart who fired that dime to Jack Beck? Was that Dart who made it first and goal?
You are ahead of me.
Damn it. I'm not trying to do it. This is just like.
Damn it.
And the Clemson mascot is mystified by the arm of Jackson Dart. The Clemson mascot's like, we should get Jackson Dart in the portal. And then you got the Troy mascot, has no idea what's going on. The Goldie Gopher, I don't know what the hell Goldie Gopher wants with Jackson Dart. It just looks really weird, the look he gave Jackson Dart.
Yeah, they're saying Jackson Dart. And he's the guy that I've been hearing a lot where people are saying, Jackson Dart, if any quarterback's going to make an impact out of the top two, I've heard some scouts saying it's going to be Jackson Dart. So if he's rocking it out in the Senior Bowl, that is a great jump start. That was on the inside shoulder. That was a perfect inside shoulder throw. On a rope. If Jackson Dart would have thrown that anywhere else, that might have been broken up, or maybe even intercepted. He threw that on the inside shoulder. That was well, maybe not on the inside shoulder, but he threw it on the inside of the corner. That was an amazing throw. And I've heard before, it goes with the spinner of the football. Jackson Dart maybe is good, if not better, than any quarterback in this draft. right there, that shows why people are saying that about him. That was an incredible throw. And here's the interesting thing. We heard all about these defensive linemen on both sides. We've seen those in spurts, but what are we really looking at here? We get a couple quarterbacks and a couple receivers that are kind of dominating. So what we're hearing,
Yeah, and the American team scored. I don't know how they scored. I mean,
I haven't seen that far yet, and obviously you haven't either. So,
all right.
Let's find out together.
Yeah, let's find out together.
Jackson Dart back in the gun. It's a 14th setup. Jackson Dart with a rushing touchdown.
Yep.
He
What a run by Jackson Dart.
Oh yeah, he felt the run. He hugged it. He put his head down. That was great pocket awareness by Jackson Dart.
Yeah, William and I, we talked about Jackson Dart all week. So for him to step up and have a touchdown in this game, this situation, it really does say something.
It is, and I think William was big on Jackson Dart.
He was.
In preseason, back when he first started podcasting with us, he was talking up and down about Jackson.
Yeah.
So William was on this thing before you or I were on.
Yeah, he was. You all right, William? I can hear your audio. If you're still dealing with stuff, that's fine.
How did he get that in there?
Yeah, the 2-point conversion, I think that was to Tesla. Arkansas has a receiver named Tesla at the Senior Bowl with 2 A's.
Oh, did you see that throw?
Yeah.
Two guys, perfect. Dart he's only had like 5 plays, and he's already outshined both quarterbacks on either team that came before him.
Yep.
It's like, oh yeah. Dart is like, fucking. They said, "Can you do this?" And he was like, "Hold my Gatorade." It's like, I mean, Jackson Dart's
Chinese companies to the United States, so much so that the rest of the government shut.
I hear, I don't know. I heard someone in the background. I don't know if
Yeah, I heard something. That's why I stopped. But it's like,
yeah.
I'm really excited right now.
I'm excited too.
I mean, I'm seeing Jackson Dart. I'm like, we're talking about only 2 first-round quarterbacks. We're looking at Jackson Dart. It's like, dude, if he does this throughout the entire process.
He had the fumble in the 3 days of practice. I don't think that's on the first day of practice. He had 3 fumbles. I don't think scouts are going to overlook that, even if he continues to dominate the process.
Yeah.
Hyping him up all over the internet, dude.
You know, it's just, what do you do with the rest of the process? Because you've already shown those 3 or 4 fumbles don't matter. You know, it's like,
They shouldn't matter, but I think they will matter in the grand scheme of things, and that'll be what keeps Dart going in round 1.
Well, if that's the case, you have to look at the draft as is. If the Browns don't take a quarterback in round 1, Dart being at the top of round 2, if the Titans take a quarterback in round 1, say Cam Ward, well, guess what? Now that may make a difference.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's and also Beck, the wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
That boy's balling.
Yeah. I don't think Worthy dropped the pass in the AFC Championship, but there's some people that do think he dropped the pass, but the ball didn't look like it hit the ground.
He did drop the pass. He did drop the pass.
Well, some people who just dislike the Chiefs in general are arguing he did, but I'm just like, I'm not going to deal with this. It's like I'm more invested in the Senior Bowl, so I don't really care.
Yeah, I'm at the point with the Chiefs. I'm tired of watching the Chiefs, but at the same time, I'm at the point that look, people are gonna say what they're gonna say. I'm just gonna call it like it is with the Chiefs because
You can argue that Allen got the first down. I don't think he got the first down initially. I thought he was ruled short, but with the close-up lens, he got the first down. The close-up.
Here was the thing, Chris. The official that was looking at it from the left side of the field said he got it by almost a yard. The other official said that he was short. You could see when they were both coming forward. The one that said he got the first down was overruled. Take it how you want to take it. Watch the replay. Make your own decision because one of those officials were right, one were wrong.
And I said if the Chiefs won due to officiating, it wouldn't be Blakeman. It would be the line judge or the back judge because the line judge, the umpire, and back judge are all part of Sean Hockley's crew that penalizes the Bills more than any other team. So I said that would play a role in the AFC Championship, and it feels like it did.
I don't really think it did as much.
It played a minimum role. It played a role, but it didn't play as big of a role as people think it did.
Yeah, I agree. Minimal is a very good thing. They played a minimal role. I think that first down, and I watched the play as it happened. I watched the replay. That was the first down. The one official got it right. One official got it wrong. The official that got it wrong.
Yeah, if you want to bitch about the first down, fine, but the Worthy catch was a catch. That was not an incomplete pass.
Yeah, that was a catch. You know, we can't argue that. And the only reason I give the officiating crew a pass on the first down, even though I didn't agree with the call and didn't like the call, was because you had two officials that said two different things.
And the incongruency really screws up the feed for the game.
Exactly. You know, you're literally putting Hockley in a very bad spot because now you're saying, hey.
Well, Cleet Blakeman was the referee, but you're putting Blakeman in a bad spot.
My bad. Blakeman.
But 3 crew members of Hockley's crew were working under Blakeman for the AFC title. And Ron Torbert's calling the Super Bowl. So you think this is bad? Just wait until what Ron Torbert puts up with. I'll get into that next week. But yeah, Ron Torbert is calling the Super Bowl. They gave him the Super Bowl over Sean Smith and who got very good reviews, and Clay Martin. I think Sean Smith should have got the Super Bowl because he showed he has the experience to call a conference title game last year, and he did a good job with the Eagles-Rams game. But that's not what happened. They gave Ron Torbert a second Super Bowl in 4 years, just like with Carl Sheffers. He got 2 in 4 years with 55 and 57. Yeah. So Torbert, same thing.
Yeah, Chris, did you hear that Bill Musgrave got promoted to the Browns quarterback coach?
Yeah.
Not bad. Know what Deion Sanders said about him? That it was a cool story. I don't know if it had any significance on anything else, but it's a cool story.
Yeah.
The Cowboys were in the Super Bowl, and Deion went up to the coach and said, you know, put Billy in. Let Billy throw a pass. Put Billy in. And I thought that was so cool that Deion just be like, put Billy in. Let Billy complete a couple passes. Put Billy in. And I just thought that was the coolest thing, that Deion would be like, backup quarterback.
Yep.
Put him in, let him live his Super Bowl dream.
Yep.
So I think that just highlights how good a guy Deion really is.
Yep, he's amazing. But, like, as far as this game goes, I thought I heard William for a second before I was going to
Yeah.
continue.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you. Perfect. But Dart
Man.
was
Well,
incredible in that last drive.
I was just going to mention Bill Musgrave. Like he was saying, he cut his teeth down here about a mile from my house at Central High School here in Grand Junction. He's like a hometown hero. And
Tyler Shows
Yeah.
made a lot of good throws in this drive, but he's also held on to the ball too long. And if it wasn't for Zabel's blocking, I think he would have been sacked on one of those completions last drive.
Zabel's had a good week too. Yeah, I mean, that was you know, he ended up going to the Cowboys and then San Francisco 49ers after that. You know, I watched him all the way through you know, playing for the Oregon Ducks and everything. But like I said, man, he after I wrote my article on his nephew, Luke Musgrave, he started following me on Twitter. So I thought that was pretty swift. But yeah, he's going to be a good one there, and I mean, he's a good offensive mind. That's what he's done his entire career. You know, after he got out of football, I think he only spent like what was it, like 6 years in the NFL or something, and he's been, you know, quarterback coach and offensive coordinator for, you know, multiple programs.
I think this is Ryan Longhouse attempting the Florida State kickers attempting a 57-yard field goal. And no good.
How did Newton do? I mean, let's face it, the concentration that took to catch that pass, but he bobbled it like 16 times. I mean, we got to give him a little bit of credit there. Not for the poor hands initially, but the concentration that it took to bring that thing back in when you just screwed things up so massively. I mean, that we can get credit for that.
Yeah, Bo Nix, they're showing some highlights of him at the Senior Bowl, but it sounds like Jackson Dart's going to get another drive here.
I hope so, because Jackson Dart was so good that last drive. I want to see if he can do it for a second straight drive. Because right now, if Jackson Dart has 2 straight drives of dominance, like, you know, in the Senior Bowl, we're going to be talking about, you know, him potentially being a third first-round quarterback.
I don't think we're going to see 3 first-round quarterbacks, but after Ward and Sanders, there's a big debate as to what's going to happen. I've got Ewers as QB3 because of the fumbles that Dart had on Tuesday and because of Milroe's small hands. But
Ewers has been inconsistent at best. So
I don't think there's a third. I don't think there's a third first-round QB outside of the 2 underclassmen.
Neither do I, but the debate will be strong if Dart continues to dominate the process.
Yeah, people want to debate over that QB3 whether we like it or not because there's more teams that need a QB than there are quality QBs this year. That's the thing.
And remember what happened last year with the Broncos?
I had a second on Bo Nix, but the 5 QBs that we had first-round grades on all went in the top 10. So Nix was the Broncos QB3 on their board, so they didn't wait. They just took their guy at 12.
What I heard was that they put out a bad board, and that Nix was actually somebody they absolutely loved. So it was.
But what 2 QBs do you think Sean Payton had ahead of Nix on his board? Because on draft day, Payton revealed that Nix was the 3rd QB on Broncos' board out of the 6 in the draft, that they had him ranked 3rd.
I don't believe anything one way or another because it's draft season. Draft season, nobody's ever telling the truth.
I think the Broncos had Jaden Daniels probably ranked ahead of Bo Nix, but the other QB they had ahead of Nix was probably Caleb Williams. I'm guessing though, and they knew those two were going to be gone 1-2, so they probably had Nix at 3.
Jaden Daniels was had probably a lot more people, a lot more talents than a lot of teams are willing to say he was ahead of us.
Yeah, 3rd and 20 here. Tafuna with another big tackle on 2nd down. Landon Jackson's coming into the game. Big 3rd down coming up here. What play do you call in this situation on 3rd and 20? I would think you're going to call a post out or a fade or something involving the deep passing game, medium deep passing game. But they're going to take this to the 2-minute warning.
I'd call crossing routes with the tight end and Z receiver, a deep post, and a deep end. We're going to make those interior. Well, with that type of pass rush, it doesn't even fucking matter. You know, you're getting your ass kicked. I mean, in the pocket, they doesn't run fast. I think you're a play ahead of me, Chris.
Apparently, there's a football play called Taco. It's a passing play where 2 of the receivers on the outside run post routes, and the slot receivers on the inside run streak routes, and the running back runs like an L route. It's different than the post route, but that's basically a football play. It's called Taco. It's if you go to playartpro.com, they give you a list of pre-designed football plays.
I had tacos for breakfast, bro.
We ran that when I was coaching high school ball.
Is this the time for Jackson Dart to whip out the taco? Post 2-minute warning.
I got up this morning.
I don't think they'll call it.
Ever repeat that sentence. That is never do it again.
All right.
That was horrifically bad.
Well,
hey, Jackson Dart, whip out your taco.
It's a taco play. Whip out the taco play. Okay, no. All right. How about power eye rhino option? That's good for a QB sneak play. That would be good to see Milrow call that.
That works. No Jackson Dart to keep his taco in his pants.
I was not. I don't know the taco play. I don't know what I was referring to, but let's move on. I was not trying to be bad, but I guess I fucked up there. But let's move on. It's 3rd down, 2-minute warning.
Honestly, if you hadn't put it the way you put it, I don't think I would have even thought about it. But the way you worded it,
I wasn't trying to be, but yeah. Apparently, there's a play called Dan Campbell's 4th down special, and it's just scribbles. That's all the play is. It's just scribbles. There's no like routes being assigned. It's just scribbles. It's 11 guys, and it's scribbles. That's the entire play for the Dan Campbell 4th down special. It is just scribbles. That's all it is. Oh, shit.
One of these days, I'm just going to write down a couple plays that I used to use, and I'm just going to put it out there to you guys and let you guys figure it out. Just because the verbiage is so much longer and so much, and
because there's cadences with plays.
And then when I say kill, and then I do another one, and throw it all together, and it's like
Jackson Dart just fumbled the ball again. That is the last thing Dart needed.
All right, man. You know, I was on there and there this morning on the internet, and I'm trying to remember who it was. They're all trying to push him into the 1st round, man.
Yeah, I agree. there's a lot of people trying to push Dart into the first round now. But
And they
that
said
fumble thing
he
is
was the
the
best
key.
quarterback all week, and this and that, and he should be the second quarterback taken, and
I'm not gonna put it there as much on Dart. Landon Jackson got back there within like 0.5 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. And
It's like if he came around the backside. So he was.
why does Ole Gordon have a West Virginia helmet sticker? Did he start out at West Virginia and transfer to Oklahoma State?
all right, check this out, guys.
Gabriel had an Oklahoma helmet. So
Well, Gabriel had Central Florida, Oklahoma, and Oregon on his helmet because he played at all three schools.
I want to read this to you guys.
but we'll deal with that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Restream. The screen is blue, William. I'm going to reload the screen, but if you want to stay on, William, you're more than welcome to. But I am going to reload the screen because I'm just not having the blue screen of death. I'm not having it.
All right.
I'm glad Ollie Gordon got us from that because
All right.
he had knees in his lower back and he just bent it. Ouch. That would have happened to me. I would have been down the second round for like the next 10 minutes. What the fuck is that?
All right, so William's back now. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes,
I was
sir.
just making sure the visuals are working. Everything looks great as far as the visuals go, and it looks like we have an interception here by Tyler Show.
Yeah, William, what do you think about that defensive play? I mean, it ended up as a fumble, but man, Landon got back there within like a second. It didn't look like Jackson Dart even had a chance to set.
Well, because Caleb Ransom intercepted Tyler Show, the fumble recovery that Jackson Dart lost was a wash because then the defense didn't get points off the fumble.
Yeah, and
about the defensive play itself. The defensive play itself was just. What did you think about the defensive play?
well, that's Landon Jackson. He was having a tough week. The first day or two. I was talking about him on air, and he just wasn't. He didn't look like Landon Jackson. When he was playing. And what happened right there. I don't know what's with Dart. With the fumble thing, but it's. I guess he just can't stop. But I mean, Landon Jackson, he probably feels right about now that he has to really do something to step up so he can try to get scouts to forget about this last week. But I still don't see that happening. He when I watched him a little bit earlier in the season, it seemed like that he was a really good player. I just hadn't hadn't done a full evaluation on him yet. But like I said, I just feel that he really had to feels that he
Interesting.
had to do something.
I've just read something baseball related. Former shortstop Barry Larkin is trying to get funding for an MLB team in Orlando if they go to expansion or relocation. So that's interesting. I knew Orlando had interest in getting an MLB team. I didn't know Barry Larkin was trying to get funding for Orlando. That does change things a little bit. But we'll get back to the Senior Bowl. We did
One
touch on
thing,
that next week, I guess.
what I was mentioning earlier about Dart.
Pass, and two, the what just happened as far as the penalty goes. If anybody was holding on that play, they did a really piss poor job of holding. Okay, hands to the face on the defense. I was like, if they were holding on that play, they need to work on their holding.
Yeah.
That was great. I mean, Dark was throwing it, and he got whacked. And they hit him in the back of the knee, so I'm really glad he got it. That getting hit in the back of the knees, that can be devastating.
Yep. And it looks like this game is going to halftime.
You know,
left, so yes, it is definitely going to halftime. But what is it going to halftime at?
It's going to go to halftime as 8-8.
And people are going to talk about that fumble for Jackson Dart. That was not Jackson Dart's fault. That was just an amazing defensive play. I mean, you do not beat a left tackle that embarrassingly and then come around and call the fumble before the quarterback can even really blink. I mean, that was just an amazing defensive play. And I do think that in the first half, there were some standouts. Beck, the wide receiver, he was an amazing standout. Jackson Dart stood out. There were some standouts here, guys, and I'm interested to see what you guys think about it because there were some guys that really made me stand up and pay attention. Do you guys have any analysis on the first half of this?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a good first half.
Personally, from an offensive perspective, I thought the offense had a better with Beck and Dark. Those were the two top offensive performers. I think Landon Johnson, defensive end, was easily the best defensive performer.
Yes.
Do you guys have anything to say outside of that?
Um,
Who,
yeah,
who do you guys think is going to start the second half at quarterback for both teams?
I think Milroe's going to start the second half.
Milroe is interesting.
Because we haven't seen him throw it yet.
I've said his ceiling maybe Air McNair, but I'm starting to think that his the actuality may be closer to one of these do-it-all players that play H-back, and then maybe come into and play quarterback every now and then, based on whether the starting quarterback is eligible or not.
Yeah.
So Milroe may be a little bit of an enigma, that his ceiling is so high that it's enticing, but at the same time, his actuality may be that, spot as an H-back that just goes straight across the board and is a productive professional for the next 15 years, but not quite a quarterback. Chris, what do you think about that? Do you think one way or another?
Yeah. I think we're going to see Milroe in the second half. And Clayton Adams is the new offensive coordinator for the Cowboys. That is breaking news. Clayton Adams. Yeah.
Okay.
That is the new Cowboys offensive coordinator.
Okay. Because last I heard, they were still going through. I thought they had like 3 interviews left. So yeah, that's Clay Adams. That's an interesting hire. Can you give us a little background on him?
I'll get a. Yeah, I can look that up. Clayton Adams. Clayton paused. I'm getting assist. He's the offensive line coach for the Cardinals, so he is going to be the new offensive coordinator. The offensive line coach for the Cardinals. Wouldn't be my choice for a coordinator, but hey, that's who the Cowboys hired. And I just think the Cowboys have to settle for leftovers at this point. And part of the problem is Jerry Jones. People are tired of being micromanaged by Jerry Jones. So I think the Cowboys, instead of getting their pick of the litter with coaches, they're getting stuck with leftovers until Jerry Jones hands over control of the GM decisions.
I'm not as down on this as you are, because I asked you about him. I already knew about the Cardinals coaching staff, so I already knew about it.
Well, he's an offensive line coach. If he's a quarterback's coach or receivers coach, I'd be a little bit more comfortable with the hire. The Cardinals, outside of Paris Johnson Jr., there really weren't any bright spots in the Cardinals' offensive line this year. And going from offensive line coach to play caller, it's a big transition in its own right. I'm not saying he can't do it, but it is a big transition.
It is a big transition. But one of the things he was very good at was helping the running game. Now, we can't say anything about the running game talent for the Cardinals, and we can't really put too much of that in there. But he was a good, he helped. It's like I was talking great about Drew Petzing as a quarterback coach for the Browns, and we were all talking about how great a job he did for the Cardinals as offensive coordinator. Well, guess what? You have to have an offensive line coach to put that plan in place because the blocking schemes have to align with you. And that's one of the things that often dooms a team and an offense specifically.
Yes.
And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, Drew Petzik, I just flat said Drew Petzik in the next 2 years is going to be a head coaching candidate, like it or not. This is a guy that picked this guy to be his offensive line coach. And I don't think people realize how important offensive line coaches have become in this day and age. So
Yeah, I only have one first round grade at QB. It's Cam Ward. I think Shadur will get picked in round 1, but I do have a round 2 grade on him. Colton Edwards has 0 first round grades on QBs, 4 second to third round grades, 4 fourth to seventh round grades. I think we put 10 or 15 QBs in the QB rankings. I think we put 10. I think we had 10 for this year, 15 for last, 10 for this year.
I'm starting to think that Shadur Sanders is probably the smartest, most accurate quarterback in this class.
Recording started.
I'm also thinking that Shadur Sanders doesn't quite have the overall ability to be a first-round quarterback. I'm starting to think that Shadur Sanders' ceiling may be Andy Dalton, which isn't bad. Andy Dalton's been a great quarterback, but number 2 or 3 overall, or 4, maybe even 4 overall, absolutely not. So, if that's the case, and your thought process, Chris, would we be looking at some movement at numbers 2 and 3 moving out?
Yeah, I'm wondering who's going to be moving up or moving out in the draft. It's 8-8 at halftime.
I actually heard a rumor today. It was like almost right before we went on the air. The Patriots trade with the Browns to get to number 2. And it was a straight swap, 4 for 2, but
Benjamin Morrison's projected to go in round 2. So if the Patriots miss out on Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter,
that was the guy I heard about. That was the guy I heard that the Patriots wanted. The Patriots should trade with the Browns.
This is the thing, though. This is the thing, Joey. This is the thing. If we miss out on Travis Hunter, we can just get Benjamin Morrison round 2 if he's there at 38, and then we can just take a left tackle or a edge rusher at 4. I'm sort of on the.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it. It was the number 4 pick and Milton for the number 2 pick, straight up.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal, but I don't think the Patriots are going to do that.
What I heard was it was about Travis Hunter.
If the Patriots get Travis Hunter, that's fine, but I don't think we should trade up for him because we can get Benjamin Morrison in round 2. Benjamin Morrison's a top 5 corner was a top 5 corner on my board too, and we might be able to get him at 38. So I don't think we should trade up from 4 to 2, even if it guarantees us, unless we're just giving up 4 in Milrow. We shouldn't give up a 38.
I agree, but the only reason I brought that trade up is because it was so realistic.
I don't think it's realistic. Milrow's a 6th round QB. I don't think it would happen. I think the Browns would want more than
not
for.
Not Milrow. It's like, did I say Jalen Milrow?
Yeah.
No, I meant the quarterback from Tennessee,
Joe Milton.
Milton. Why the fuck do I say Milrow? It must
'Cause-
be draft season.
Yeah,
It
it's the
must be
names.
draft
The
season.
names. It's easy to confuse the
Yeah.
names. But yeah, Milton. I still wouldn't. I don't think I think the Browns would want more than Milton for number 2. I do, because the number
Yes,
4 pick's worth 1,800 most years. The number 2 pick's worth 2,600. I think the Browns would want significantly more than Milton. Maybe not a second or third, but they would want at least.
I heard that if the Browns wanted more, they could ask for a 4th. I mean, I'm thinking you have the trade value chart in front of you, so with that,
No, I don't have the trade value chart in front of me. I've just memorized the top of the trade value chart to where I don't even need to look at the trade value chart to memorize the first 5 picks, because number 1's 3,000, number 2's 2,600, number 3's 2,200, number 4's 1,800. So I don't even need the trade value chart to memorize the values. That's how ingrained they are into my brain. I think you're kind of surprised by that. You're impressed, but you're a little bit surprised that I memorized that.
Because I'm kind of surprised, because I know how stuck up you are on the statistics and the charts and everything. So I was expecting you to, just rip through there and give me a direct answer on that. Now, from what I understand, if my memory serves, 260 to 300 for a 4th rounder. And we cannot look at Joe Milton in the chart. So
I do have a pepperoni pizza coming to me. So if the phone disconnects, that's because the pizza's arrived, Joey. Just giving you a heads up. You should order a pizza too, Joey. You should order a pizza too.
I'm probably going to go here in a few minutes, but I'm trying to get through this scenario real quick.
No worries, because Williams.
It's because football is football, and football takes precedent.
Yes.
And so I'm saying we cannot take Milton as a 7th round pick, because he does have.
He was drafted in the 6th round at 193, but if you take away the compensation picks, he would be a first pick in round 7. If you take away the compensation picks, so it's really splitting hairs at that point, that late in the draft.
So we're trying to figure out the best scenario and how to really the trade would look at. How do you value Milton in the draft? And I mean, did you value him as maybe a 2nd, 4th round pick? Do you value him as a 5th round pick? Because that might end up tipping the scales on the trade value chart. So how do you value him as far as the trade value charts go?
I mean, that's the thing. He might have minimal value. He might have a lot of value. Depends on how you view his ceiling. Because I had a backup grade on Milton. Joe Milton. I had a backup grade on Milton. He was my top-rated backup QB in last year's draft. But there were guys like Sam Hartman that I viewed as guys who started potential. Jalen Travis, Jordan Travis. So it's Milrow's in the game now for the American team.
Milton was a guy I liked, but I kind of agreed with you on the premise. But after watching him, and as much as I've watched him, I can say, this dude
He was one of the rookies that won player of the game. We had a list of players who won player of the game as rookies on Draft Utopia for the 24 draft. He was the only rookie QB outside of the 1st round that got the award.
He's shown more potential than I think we thought he had.
Yeah.
Now, how much is that going to be valued by either the Patriots?
I think it's going to be valued a little bit to the point where he might get the same value as a 5th round pick, but not a 4th. That's
maybe that's fair, but it is a fair question to ask.
It is a fair question to ask
because he has exceeded expectations so far.
Yeah.
So how much further do teams?
And if you got a player who's exceeded expectations, you should try to move the player to cash in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% agree.
Because look at DTR. The Browns didn't move him when his value was at an all-time high because he had a little bit more potential than someone like.
And they're paying for it. Now, here's the thing. Jalen Miller, we're looking at him. He is one of the most intelligent, hardworking players in this draft. Okay, he is one of those guys. This is what I've always said about him. He is intelligent to almost to the point of a detriment. And he is as hardworking as he will stay before going to class the next morning. He will stay hours over to practice and then go to class the next morning. So is that enough to...
I don't know if Swipa's trolling me here in the group because I'm reading the Scouting Dogs group that Colton Edwards rent, but Swipa Eric, who does the photo design, who does some of the thumbnails for the Draft Utopia podcast, said he had DJ Ugalele as QB1 and that Jackson Dart is a day 4 pick. I don't know if he's trolling us. That sounds like trolling because if he's being serious, that's just not a good look if you're being serious. I would think he's trolling in that context where you're saying Jackson Dart's a day 4 pick and DJ Ugalele is QB1. That sounds like trolling more so than a serious draft take, Joey. That sounds like trolling to me.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Okay?
You could be wrong because... Oh, damn.
But Ugalele went back to college, so I don't think he's in this draft. So to say he's QB1 in this draft, maybe he's QB1 next year. Who knows? Maybe he has a Burrow-like season. I'm kidding. He's not going to have a Burrow season.
I don't know.
He might. If he does, we'll see.
Did you see that Miller play? He ran into the back of his guy, and then...
Yeah.
It's like, that's what I was talking about, the intelligence factor. The big thing with Milroe is his consistency and his accuracy because he is one of the hardest workers and one of the most intelligent players in this draft.
Yep.
But no matter what position.
RJ Harvey's made some really nice plays in this drive. I know Milroe's done well on this drive too, but I think the real star of this drive is RJ Harvey, the running back from Central Florida.
Harvey is great. Milroe is just the star of the drive, but Harvey was the one that really made things work.
Yeah.
I don't want to, minimize Harvey's
contributions
to that. But I just think,
and Milroe, he gets sacked there. But I did see Jalen Milroe make 4 progressions out of 6 in the end of the Wednesday practice. So I do think he can read the defense.
Yeah, that's what
I didn't see that all year at Alabama. He finally showed that at Mobile, but that was the thing with Hurts.
That's the thing that I'm...
Because Hurts did the same thing Milroe did. Hurts did the exact same thing Milroe did in the Senior Bowl in 2020, Joey, where he was a one-read QB on tape, but then he made 5 out of 6 progressions in the practices.
Here's the problem. He made 3 or 4 reads under Tommy Rees. The new coaching staff was having him do 1 read. So my thought is, as a coach and as a scout, I'm like, okay, who is he? Who is he? Is he the Nick Saban, Tommy Rees quarterback that was making 3 to 5 reads? Or is he the quarterback last year that was making 1 read?
Because I did not see multiple reads in the 2023 offense, but I'll take your word for it.
I did, and that, because I will say this. If he was not making those reads, I can guarantee you Nick Saban would not have him in the game. I don't care what Tommy Rees would have said. I don't care what anybody else would have said. I don't care what the quarterback coach would have said. Nick Saban would not have a 1-read quarterback starting for his team. Because Nick Saban Nick Saban didn't make his reputation on one-trick ponies. That shit didn't happen. Even in the pros, when he was there, he was fighting the system because he didn't want to do things their way. Nick Saban would not deal with a one-trick pony.
Yes.
You made your reads, you did what you needed to do, or you were out on your ass. And Jalen Milroe did that. Most games, when he made reads, he would make 3 reads, maybe 4 reads. You know, and that I'm not saying that's amazing, but that's.
I think I've got a.
Better.
Hey. Oh, is
Hello,
this?
yes, this is Pizza Man.
Okay,
Right
awesome.
Pull up right now.
Awesome. Yeah, so my pizza's here, Joey. Take over the show while
Okay, you know, I'm not sure what the American offensive line is doing right now because they're not playing well. Right there, they showed 2 guys that made basic swim and root moves and just ran right through the American offensive line. Now we're looking at and then the American team missed the field goal. Now, I'm not Davis. I'm not as familiar with him as other people are, but I will say this. If you're sitting there dealing with this, because remember, play before, other quarterbacks were having trouble. Not just Jalen Miller, other quarterbacks are having trouble against this defensive line. I always said, you know, Chris and myself have said both that the line, the defensive line, is the key to both sides. Quincy Carrier said the same thing. Pro Football Focus said the same thing. Right there, we just saw it. We saw it earlier when Jacksonville's fumble, when you got that was less than a second. Offensive lineman, 3 seconds. They're supposed to hold up 3 seconds. They couldn't even hold up a second. So you can't hold Jacksonville responsible for that fumble because he wasn't even able to set up. He wasn't even able to set his feet before he was swiping down the ball. It's on his blind side. So right now, the defensive line is punishing. Defensive linemen from both sides are punishing quarterbacks and running backs. They are just saying, screw you. This is our draft. We are going to punch you in the face. And right now, they are punching the offensive linemen, the quarterbacks, and the running backs in the face. And it is, I think it's amazing to watch because I love it. But at the same time, I don't like the fact that it's hurting prospects that I seem to like. But I do love, and I'm going to look back at this and I'm going to analyze it because I think that these guys on the defensive line, this is the first time I've really gotten a chance to really hit them hard this year. But I've heard a lot about it. I've seen some highlights. I'm going to love watching back. I'm going to love watching this hit back. But these guys, right now, are showing
Big 3rd and 6 coming up here.
that they're the best at that. They are going to go in the top 2 to 3 rounds, every single one of them, because they said so. It's like right there.
Oh, man.
Look at that rush. Look at that rush.
So explosive.
Explosion. Okay. You said it right, Chris. Explosion. And that just goes to exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was talking about.
Princely Umanian got the sack after winning the rep against Connerly. But some of the guys who dominated the Senior Bowl, like Mike Green, Shamar Sanders, a lot of guys opted out of the Senior Bowl after Thursday's practice because they didn't want to play in the game. They felt like they did enough in practice to validate their draft stock.
But the fact is, right now, I've been impressed with guys like Jackson Dart. I've been impressed with Trevor Etienne. But the bottom line is, guys I've been impressed with most are those defensive linemen.
I agree.
Because those guys have created havoc.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how well the other guys play. Right there. There you go. There's another one. 728. There's another sack. You can't tell me that the defensive line on either side are not dominating this game. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care who the offensive linemen are. I don't care who the wide receivers are. The defensive line right now is just...
Speaking of defensive linemen on the interior, Jalen Carter's the 3rd edge rusher with 20 quarterback hurries in the NFL playoffs. The other two are Aaron Donald and when the Rams won 56 and Chris Jones when the Chiefs won 57. So Jalen Carter.
And you wonder why teams like the Browns are looking we're looking at interior defense tackle. You wonder why in this game right here that we're watching, that interior defense tackle is just so important that people are looking at it so intently. You wonder why other teams are looking at the interior defensive pass rush. It's because of this reason right here we're watching with Steve.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are making the difference, and when these guys make the difference, the guys on the outside get to make even more of a difference. There is a reason this happening, and it's because these teams are looking and saying, well, hot damn, if you pressure these guys up the middle, it makes it harder for them to do anything. Now, I will say, I will give credit to Jackson Dart because he got pressured up the middle and he found lanes that he probably shouldn't have found to run up the middle, which is a credit to him. But at the same time, why the hell couldn't he do what he needed to do back in the pocket? And that reason is simple. These guys were rushing him, and it was not even close.
Yeah.
They were dominating the line of scrimmage. And I think that is, though, well, people say, well, Jackson Dart fumbled. I'm like, well, why the hell did he fumble? That's because of the domination of the defensive line.
Yep.
Because you don't get dominant. You don't get the term dominant unless you're getting back there within a second, maybe a second and a half. And right now, both sides are getting back there within a second and a half. And that, I'm really getting interested in the NFL draft right now from a defensive line perspective more than I was before. Because guess what? these guys are making me excited. These guys are making me excited for that draft.
Yeah, defensive line's the strongest position in the draft. I've been saying that since the beginning of this process back in.
Well, you and I were both saying that, but at the same time, it's like these guys, but they weren't making me excited. These guys are making me excited. There's a difference between being the strongest and making people excited.
Well, when you're the strongest at a position, you're supposed to make people excited. It's not like maybe for you, they're making you excited, but for me, it's the expectation that you're supposed to make people excited.
Well, I've been around doing this long enough to say you're supposed to be excited, but I've been disappointed enough when they're supposed to be excited to temper my expectations. When I see it, in process, now there's where the excitement comes. Because I've been around long enough where I can see it happening. This is good. These guys are great. But when the process really heats up, when the pressure's on, and the people that step up when the pressure's on, that makes me excited because any Ohio State defensive tackle can walk in Miami of Ohio and whoop their ass. That's not going to excite me. You put that Ohio State guy on Senior Bowl against the best seniors in the country and have them whoop somebody's ass, that excites me.
Because Ohio State's national championship started so late, they didn't get any players at the Senior Bowl.
And that sucks. I hate that.
Because the championship was a conflict of interest with the Senior Bowl week because they want to have all the guys at the Senior Bowl by the 15th of January. That's the day they want to have all their invites locked in. Media passes.
And that pissed me off because I really did think that those guys could have made a huge difference and really could have shown themselves. So I'm going to have to.
I'm not sure if that's on Ohio State or Nagy because it's the seat.
That might have been on Nagy. He might have to but at the same time,
I think
he may have to push back the Senior Bowl week.
I get it. The 15th should be the deadline for media passes, but for players, it should be extended another week at least. That's what I'm saying.
This is an entirely new situation with the extended playoffs, so Nagy might have to adjust. I can give Nagy a pass on that this year.
Yeah,
next year it's going to be something different.
Yeah.
If he doesn't make any adjustments next year, then we get to talk about Nagy. But the situation is, when the process heats up, I'm going to go back and rewatch the national championship game. Guess what? That's the Senior Bowl, in my opinion. That's the Senior Bowl for the Ohio State guys.
Yeah.
And that may be the Senior Bowl for a lot of the guys going against them. So, So we're going to have to look at that. And for this year only.
Yeah, and there's people saying they need to make the playoff quicker. And, that's the thing. The playoff they want the playoff to end on either here's the thing. If there's people who want the playoff to end on a Saturday, and there's also people who want the playoff to end on the second Monday in January.
Well, it's all going to depend because right now it's affecting the draft. It's like, how much better could this Senior Bowl have been at the players in the national championship game.
Well, part of it might be family interest too, because Jim Nagy's an Alabama fan, his wife's a Michigan fan. So I don't know if there's a bias against Ohio State because there weren't that many Ohio State players in last year's game. I don't want to say that. That doesn't sound true or legitimate.
I wouldn't think so because you're looking at the SEC and the Big Ten, which are the two biggest conferences. So why would you? So you couldn't really put in a bias there. That would be so freaking messed up. And everybody would be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ray Sable has an amazing mustache. Did you just see that picture?
Yeah.
His mustache was immaculate.
And big reception there coming up. But yeah.
Maybe, but the mustache, dude.
Elgers was in the game for the national team.
That mustache was just top notch.
Yep.
We're talking about movie star mustaches.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I just got caught up. I saw that mustache and I'm like, that is Tom Selleck-esque mustache. That mustache is amazing. I'm sorry, guys. The facial hair on there. And now they're showing him working on a fucking tractor.
And the handoff to Kyle Williams, the wide receiver.
Ryan just flew through the corner that was guarding him. It was not even close.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He had 6 yards of separation.
Mm-hmm.
That was some damn good separation right there. Oh, that was a pretty damn good play fake right there. He got run down, but as far as the play fake itself, but right there is like Dawkins, defensive lineman, blew through the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Once again, we're talking about the defensive line. Number 93, he blew through the line of scrimmage. And it's like it didn't matter how good the play fake was because he was running down the quarterback. I mean, it was just a foot race.
Yeah. And we're approaching this final minute of the third quarter, so we're going to see another field goal attempt here. And it's 8-8 game. It's going to be 11-8 heading into the fourth quarter. I think that is a scoregami if that remains the final score. 11-8 would be a scoregami for the Senior Bowl. I don't remember a football game finishing 11-8.
Now I do want to give credit for the play call.
Yeah.
On the reverse, because that was to Kyle Williams.
That was a really good play call by Mike Kafka, the head coach of the national team, the Senior Bowl.
It was, and I really liked it. And it gave the player a chance, and he did a pretty decent job.
Yep.
The fuck? What is Mark thinking? Get that first down. He was right there. That was a great play. he just had to stop inbounds. The fuck was he thinking?
So Cam Ward's agent is the agent of a Fortune 500 company. I don't know who Shadur's agent is, but it's someone from Colorado who helped him with his NIL deal.
I figure it'd probably be
the agent for Abdul Carter is Drew Rosenhaus. So whoever drafts Abdul Carter, you are negotiating with Drew Rosenhaus.
And I reiterate, for the love of crap, did Rosenhaus keep his ass out of the top 5?
I still think Abdul Carter's going in the top 5, even if Rosenhaus is his agent.
Rosenhaus is, I have heard Rosenhaus, I've heard Carter going anywhere from number 1 overall to number 4 overall. Where he's going to go, I don't know. But I've heard from 1 to 4. Y'all.
There's a lot of I think the Titans at 1 and the Titans are either going to take Cam Ward or Abdul Carter at 1. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I heard the Titans loved Abdul Carter. And I heard they wanted Cam Ward. So you can look at that the way it is. I heard the Browns loved Abdul Carter, but they're getting to the point that they love a quarterback. But they also may trade back. I've heard that the Giants love Abdul Carter.
I think the Browns are going to take a quarterback at 2, but Jay Crawford, I listened to Jay Crawford the other day. He thinks they're going to take Abdul Carter, and all this smoke about the QBs, that's all it is smoke. He might be right. We'll see.
He may be. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Jay Crawford because of his opinions and how strong they are. And some people say they don't like Adam the Bull and Jay Crawford on the same panel because they're two incredibly strong personalities and have a lot of strong opinions. But the bottom line is, you gotta love both of them. Because when they believe something, right or wrong, they will say they believed it, they'll say they loved it, and if they're wrong, they'll admit they were wrong. And you gotta love both guys for that. So, and when it comes to Jay Crawford, you may not like it, but Jay Crawford has a lot of connections. He was Tampa Bay Buccaneers, ESPN. He did some stuff with the NFL Network. He did some stuff with the Browns. And then he came back to his hometown of Cleveland. And now he's doing local news. And, you know, he still has those connections. So you can't just say, well, Jay Crawford doesn't know what he's talking about. But yeah, Jay Crawford literally knows more than probably you ever know in your life about what he's talking about. And his connections are probably worlds beyond anything you will ever have in your life. And that is something you can't. I love Jay Crawford. I remember Jay Crawford when he first came to ESPN, because I was a big proponent at the time of SportsCenter. I have been a Jay Crawford fan for 20-some years. Because I remember his first day at ESPN. And he's always been great.
Yeah.
And let's face it, since he went to the Ultimate Clean Sports Show, he's been able to show his fashion sense. Dude, if you want some casual stuff to wear out in public on a night out, dude, look at Jay's wardrobe. That dude is fine. He is fire with his wardrobe. I mean, just look at Jay's wardrobe on the Ultimate Clean Sports Show, and it's like, dude, that sports jacket and turtleneck combination is fire. The color combination, the combination of like, dude, this is why are you not posing with George W. Bush on the Twitter machine? Why aren't you on Instagramming with this man? I mean, you guys could have the greatest male fashion blog ever created. I mean, you guys know fashion. Like the fuck? I know I'm getting off on a little bit of a tangent, but fashion with Jay Crawford. Jay's fashionable. Even when he's dressed out, he wears some nice jackets and whatever. It's like,
the style that Scarface's brother talks about in the movie Scarface, Crawford has that. So because he's talking about fashion and style in the movie.
When I watch the Open Clean Russia and Jay comes on, I'm like, what's he wearing today?
And it looks like the fourth quarter has started, and we already have a big turnover to start the fourth quarter of the Senior Bowl.
You're ahead of me. I'm looking at pricing in mock-ups. So I'm going to talk about fashion trends within the independent sports media franchise until shit comes. Oh, okay, here it is. Jalen Hurts. And I will say, I was a Jalen Hurts fan, and you know this, when he was at Alabama.
Seth
I was
Hurting.
a proponent of his.
Yep.
And so, like Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, I'm the guy. I raised the hand. And I'm incredibly grateful for those guys. This year, I'm a fan of some of these guys, but I'm going to say it is incredibly difficult. Oh, that was all sides. Was that not called?
No offsides on the play. And Seth Hernigan just coughed up the football.
The football was offsides, but it was not even close. The ball had not been snapped by the time he was across the line. Now, good on him for, making a huge play because it was a fumble. Nobody's gonna argue that the fumble was a bad fumble. But at the same time, dude, he was way offsides.
Yeah, and that's
Horrific fumble, horrific offsides that weren't called. It was horrific all the way around. Justin Fry was promoted as the offensive line coach for the Cardinals.
Yep.
So, who's the quarterback right now?
Tyler Show for the national team.
Shows is still in there? Okay. I wasn't sure who was still in there. They didn't announce it.
They played the QB from Canada on the last drive in the third quarter, but they put Show back in for the fourth after the fumble by Seth Hernigan.
Because he made a couple damn good plays. I think he deserves to get a goal line or a red zone.
And that's a touchdown. So it's going to be 17-8 now.
And I think Fan Jr. caught the touchdown. arguably the best tight end in the draft, and a guy who
No, Virginia Tech's receiver caught the touchdown. But to be fair,
it was
Fannin caught a play that set up the touchdown. Fannin caught.
wasn't a touchdown.
They didn't call that a touchdown. No, I'm a few plays ahead of you. They should have. I thought he crossed the line.
So did I. That was. Oh damn! I thought that was a touchdown. That was a great run after the catch. That was a great run after the catch, and I thought he got in.
So 19-8. I think we're going to see more of Seth Hernigan, because Seth Hernigan fumbled that one snap, but that's the only snap Hernigan's got, because I think there's 7 QBs in Mobile this year. That's why one team's got 4, the other's got 3.
Fuck that up. I mean, you can talk about the offsides that wasn't called all you want, but
If Hernigan fumbles again, I'm playing Milrow or Dart for the fourth quarter.
That doesn't excuse the fumble.
If Hernigan fumbles again, I'm playing Dart or Milrow the rest of the game. I don't care what.
Yeah, because here's the thing. We're not talking about a Jalen Dart. We're not talking about a Jalen Milrow, or a Jackson Dart, or a Jalen Milrow. We're talking about a guy that may or may not get drafted. If he fumbles again, that holds more weight than what happens with Milrow or Dart.
Agreed.
So that is, Dart made a few huge plays. Guess what that fumble means on a great defense play? Not a damn thing. But what does a fumble mean on a meaningless snap? Well, guess what's going to happen? Your draft stock? Zoom! Straight through the toilet. So these players, they've got to be very cognizant of exactly what's going on right now. You have some 12 minutes. 12 minutes to prove. Because we've talked about Dart, we've talked about Milrow, we've talked about the defensive lines. Right now, we're down to the nitty-gritty. Are you going to make your mark? Or aren't you? That's what we're looking at right now.
Yep.
And this is where I really shine. It's like when I'm looking at and breaking down plays.
Yep.
The other stuff is like, yeah, I'm knowledgeable, but when it comes to looking at and breaking down plays, that's what I look at. I know, Chris, you're a big eating pizza.
Yeah, I'm still working on my third piece, but I'm refilling water during the commercial breaks.
You're letting me talk when you eat your pizza. I get it. I've done it with you before. Pizza is pizza.
Pizza's pizza.
Pizza is pizza.
12:40 left in this game, though.
There's plenty of time.
There is. But, if you're going to bank on a quarterback to lead you to a fourth quarter comeback and you're the American team, who do you pick?
Ooh. That's tough. For me, in this situation, I take the guy that is least likely to be taken high. And I say, go show us why we should take you. Because remember, we got like 7 or 8 teams represented per team with coaches this year. It's like, tell us why we should pick you.
And every team interviews guys at the Senior Bowl. Everybody who plays in the Senior Bowl gets the privilege of interviewing with all 32 teams, and then they get to do it again at the Combine.
Absolutely. It's like Kevin Stefanski interviewed Jalen Milrose. That was the only guy I've heard he interviewed. He may have interviewed Jackson Dart, but that was the main guy I heard. And then he bolted because his special teams coach was the head coach on there, so he didn't have to stay.
And
now, if the situation was different, of course, he may have stayed. But at the same time, you got 7 guys to interview. Who's to say that Bubba Van Throne didn't interview the next 4?
they probably Browns probably split up the interviews because I think each coach can interview any players of their choice at these all-star games. Ooh, and there's a injury on the play. That's why I said ooh.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why having that head coach at the Senior Bowl is so important, because now you have your head coach who can interview a guy, your offensive coordinator who can interview a guy, and the head coach of the team not only can interview the guy, he's actually coaching the guy. And and so on and so
Okay, I do have something in the chat room here. What do we have? Nope, just kick streams. I was hoping for an intelligent comment like the one we got last week. Damn it. Just kick.
Give me the non-intelligent comments so I can comment on the non-intelligent.
It's just somebody recruiting me to kick streams. It's not a stupid comment. It's just.
Well, I can kick them in the balls on the stream. I mean, if that makes them feel better.
Oh man, it's funny.
Oh, I'm an old man. Let me do this.
And now we're seeing Comcast ads during the Senior Bowl. So he high-fives everyone. Okay, I was going to say, if he didn't high-five the dog, I was going to kick that Comcast guy's ass in the commercial. Not in real life, but in the commercial. Yeah, you better high-five the dog. But yeah, it's like, come on.
I do feel bad whenever I see an injury in one of these games where these guys are playing for their future. It's sad to see.
Now, this commercial actually looks good. It's a Movie Pass commercial. Is Movie Pass coming out with an app? Because I've heard of Movie Pass in the theaters, but it sounds like they are creating an app now. And
nothing that
I thought Lander Barton was down. It's Reed on Utah who is injured on the play. Because I thought the only Utah linebacker that got a Senior Bowl invite was Lander Barton. But Reed did too, I guess.
Reed's a good linebacker.
All right.
So I kind of feel really bad for him.
Yeah. So Seth Hernigan's taken 2 snaps. He fumbled and he took a sack. And then he drops back to pass and he throws a dart to the Georgia receiver, Anis Smith. That was a nice throw.
I feel good for Anis Smith because I always felt that he would be a overlooked receiver because they have so many stars at receiver. So I think this is his time to shine. So giving him this chance, I think that's good.
Yeah, and RJ Harvey's in the backfield now, so Ty Felton's also in the huddle. So is Jack Beck. So Jackson Slater, Arian Smith. I said I got Arian Smith of Georgia mixed up with Yanish Smith, the former Texas A&M receiver, but Arian Smith, good first down there. Seth Hernigan with a screen pass to R.J. Harvey, and R.J. Harvey on a halfback pass, and it's a touchdown. The crazy part is, outside of the Jackson Dart rushing touchdown, the two running backs had halfback passes. So outside of Tyler Show and Jackson Dart, it was an amazing play. I just think it's unique that both teams had running backs throw passing touchdowns. I think that's I don't think we've seen that in an NFL game where both teams had a non-QB throw a touchdown in the same game. And so to have that, it's pretty rare. It makes this year's Senior Bowl that much more special.
The Senior Bowl is for exposing talent of these guys that had 4 to 5 years of experience. Normally wouldn't get that exposure.
And Tesla with the 2-point conversion from Hernigan. So it's 19-16. The national team leads, but huge touchdown by the American team. They needed that down by double digits. Now they're only down by 3, but yeah, it should make for an exciting game. Buccaneers have promoted Josh Grizzard to offensive coordinator. I'm going to look up Josh Grizzard before we get back from the commercial. So Josh Grizzard, he was the passing game coordinator in 2024, Dolphins receivers coach in 2020 and 2021. Then he was the quality control coach for Mike McDonald because he went to Yale just like Mike McDaniel, but he started out as the receivers coach before McDaniel was hired as the head coach, before McDaniels replaced Flores. So, and then now he's the Bucs offensive coordinator.
He's a good position coach. I think right now he's showing that he might be a little bit more creative than he was given credit for by either NFL standards or any other standards. So we're going to have to look at that for what it is.
Yep.
But guess what? We're going to find out next year whether this is just a Senior Bowl thing or it's a real thing we need to be looking at.
Yeah, but Buccaneers, they promoted Grizzard, but the coordinators at the Senior Bowl, they take a lot of positional coaches and they put them in situations where they get to call plays to try to enhance their vocabulary.
I will give him a little bit of leeway because none of these guys he's coaching right now.
I don't think Grizzard's coaching in the Senior Bowl. I just saw the NFL network news ticker say that Grizzard got promoted from passing game coordinator to Buccaneers offensive coordinator. So this isn't even Senior Bowl related, but you know.
You know what? Next year, we're going to have to go down the Senior Bowl coaching list and really do a deep dive into it because this is the second year they've just confused the crap out of pretty much everybody. We're going to have to go down the full list and make sure not only us, but everybody else knows this is this coaching staff, this is teams they come from, and this is the other one. But
I might be in Mobile next year. I don't know yet, but if I'm saving up for 2026 and 2026 is the QB class I think it's going to be, I probably will be in Mobile.
Well, then you'll have the insider information.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to figure out my next year. So we'll figure that out. I'm not going to disclose it on air, but we're going to figure that out as it goes.
But the QB from Canada is back in for the national team. 1916 with 10-12.
Give the kid a chance. Give the kid a chance.
Sheesh, this defensive line is feasting. Cam James with the tackle.
Those commentators are horrible. It's like they just said there's no chance, and I'm like, right as I say, give the kid a chance, and it's like, damn guys, you know, it's a Senior Bowl, don't give these kids a chance. It's like you're saying there's no chance. It's like, hold it.
What a play by the Kansas State corner, number 10, Parrish. William and I, we looked up Parrish. He had a good practice on Thursday. But, yeah, Parrish, very quick to react to the play on, just goes and makes the tackle.
Last one. See what you do. Go to interception.
And another, oh, what a.
He got touched, he turned around, and he turned back into a good run. Like, dude, keep spinning. Get the feet back under. Fall back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn. I like it. Kansas State corner, number 10.
Yeah, that's what I told you about, Joey. Parrish. Kansas State corner, Parrish.
Yeah, I liked it. Bury him again.
Okay, so the alternate referee for the Super Bowl is Carl Sheffers. So if something happens to Ron Torbert, Carl Sheffers.
Torbert, you better fill up. Or Sheffers, you better fill up because Torbert, hell no.
Torbert's the main referee. If something unfortunate happens to Torbert, the alternate Carl Sheffers would take his place.
Oh, God, we're all screwed.
So we're screwed either way. Mike Morton's the umpire in the Super Bowl, part of Kemp's crew. Max Cossey, I know LJ is line judge, field judge, side judge, back judge. I don't know what D judge is.
Those guys aren't back.
Max Cossey is the DJ for the Super Bowl. Mark Stewart is the line judge for the Super Bowl. Scott Novak's line judge. Merle Robinson.
I like Novak.
Yeah, so Novak's line judge is in the Super Bowl. The field judge is Traw Blake's field judge, Merle Robinson, retired U.S. Air Force instruction. Boris Cheek from Smith's crew is the side judge.
I do like him, you know, any retired military personnel that has ever been an official has always been very good. It's like Ed Hockley. He was always very good because he was a lawyer.
Yeah, and yeah, Merle Robinson's the Merle Robinson's the retired U.S. Air Force instructor, but Boris Cheek, the side judge, has officiated more NFL games than any other game in history as a side judge. So he's called more games as a side judge as any official in NFL history, even though he's not a ref.
But I'm always partial to people who, outside of the officiating game, have to have the utmost integrity
Yep.
within their profession, because if they don't, their profession outside of football is going to suffer more than anything else.
Yeah, and the back judge is Jonah Monroe, a Clete Blakeman's back judge in the Super Bowl, and then RO. I don't know what RO is. Kevin Brown would be the RO, and then there's alternates for all of the.
Jalen Miller is back in there.
Castro just intercept Milroe because they were grabbing Castro and lifting him in the air. The national team was grabbing Castro and lifting him in the air. So that tells me he made a big play, whether it's a fumble or an interception. I don't know what he did. I was reading off the. That was not a turnover, but that was a big play by Castro.
I thought there was just a completion. I'm figuring you're probably ahead of me.
Yeah. That was a tackle that was a tackle on a QB scramble to prevent a touchdown.
Okay, you're probably a long way with.
An unidentified member of the NFL front office will be assigned as the replay assistant for the Super Bowl. Really? Can't tell us who that unidentified member is?
Sebastian Casper just prevented a first down. It was a turnover on down.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, Milroe got a yard and he needed 4. Castro chased his ass down and hit him in the knee.
Yep. And now the national team has the ball back. If they want to put this game away, they got to get a touchdown here. Otherwise,
Agreed. But yeah, number 85 was supposed to block for Milroe on that run, and he just turned around and looked stupid. And as you know, when it's a designated run and somebody doesn't block, not going to turn out well. Not good for that guy's draft stock.
nope. It looks like the Syracuse running back got a first down. There's under 4 minutes left in the game now.
Yeah, the Syracuse running back looks like he's in there.
Actually, that is LaQuinn Tutton. Actually, it's 4th and 1. No first down, but they're going for it here. National team's going to try to bleed the clock and put this game away.
Love those plays by those linebackers.
And no, it's incomplete. Kaiser broke up the pass, but there's a flag down. Uh-oh, there's a flag on the play.
What are those fucking flags? This is these kids' lives.
Roughing the passer? Really? We're going to call roughing the passer here? Well,
I didn't think Patrick Mahomes was playing this game.
no, it makes sense now, Joey. The NFL brought in replacement refs from the AFC Championship for the Senior Bowl. It makes sense now.
Fucking horrible.
That was a joke, but yeah, you're disgusted by the fact that this game was decided on a penalty. This is the Senior Bowl. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be decided on a penalty.
This is these kids' future. Let them decide their own future. Don't fucking decided for him. I mean, that pisses me off. Because I can be upset about a call in the NFL playoffs, but these kids, this is their future. This is their livelihood. Hold your fucking bias.
Let the kids play for that moment, like the ref on Blue Mountain State. He didn't call any penalties in either team. Let him play it out, and then he called a touchdown at the end of the game in the series finale of Blue Mountain State when Blue Mountain State plays Blackwell. That referee's had more integrity than a Senior Bowl referee, and he's a fictional referee. He's a referee on a fictional TV show, not an actual referee.
I hate this. That anybody because I've officiated some games when the game was on the line and people were looking at their futures, whether it's the next game or anything else, let it play out. And in this situation, this is the biggest let it play out you will ever find. Let this shit play out. Because right now you're affecting the future of a lot of people.
Yeah, but the freaking American team did burn a timeout, but it's 3rd and 6 here, big 3rd down coming up. So maybe the refs didn't. Maybe the refs did affect the 4th down with the roughing the passer play, but the American team may end up having to. We'll see. They burn a timeout.
I just hate that these kids, some of their futures are going to hinge on the fact that they're not going to get the opportunities to make plays that they could have made.
And it does sound like Jackson Dart will get the final drive. So if they're going for it on 4th and 2, even though, because if you take the points, you're basically saying, go beat us, Jackson Dart. And that's not something you want to do. You want to put this game away because the way the Browns coach on the American team is looking at Jackson Dart, that tells me Jackson Dart's going to get the final drive for the American team. You want to put this thing away now before Jackson Dart comes back into the game. If it was any other quarterback, I'd take the field goal, I'd take the points. But if Jackson Dart's coming back in the game, I would try to put it away here.
With Bubba has always been.
Bubba Ventrone's going to put Dart in. He's looking at Dart like he's going to put him in the game. So I would try to put it away here, Joey.
Yeah, so would I. Bubba has always been somewhat of a go-getter, but with the new rules on special teams, he hasn't been able to adjust. I think this is his chance to show, my ability to be a go-getter. I'm putting my guy back in.
And the American team.
Maybe this is something that we need to look at for the NFL.
RJ Oben pushed back.
Is the one that the Browns are really looking at.
RJ Oben pushed back Ole Gordon like he was frickin' Warren Sapp. He pushed Ole Gordon back like 10 yards on this 4th down stop, like he's frickin' prime Warren Sapp.
My thought is, if Jackson Dart comes back in, maybe, just maybe, that's the Browns tipping their hand, but maybe their guy is Jackson Dart.
No, Seth Hennigan. They're bringing Seth Hennigan back into the game. Anyone but Seth Hennigan. You don't have any timeouts left.
Why are you bringing in Seth Hennigan? What the fuck?
It's a 3-point game. I would play anyone but Hennigan at this point. Preferably Milroe or Dart.
This is Bubba Ventrone's chance to show that he's more a special team, more than just a special teams player. How the fuck are you bringing in the number 5 quarterback?
The number 4 QB on your own team.
Why? just don't. I don't get it. This is your shot, and you're bringing in. You know how you're going to be looked at in the NFL circles? Yes. You bring in Jackson Dart, and he leads the game-winning touchdown as opposed to fucking Hennigan who gets swinging out. Dude. Bubba. Bubba, what the hell is your problem?
You know, you've still got time to take Hennigan out of the game at the 2-minute warning. Hennigan did do a nice job on that completion for the first down, but it's the 2-minute warning. You could put someone else in the game. If you want to take Hennigan out, put someone else in the game, this is your only opportunity to do so.
Yeah, it's maybe they go in here with Hennigan as there's a 2-yard completion.
Yeah.
Very, very bad choice of words in that exact time period.
Yep. I ate 4 pieces of pizza. I could get more pizza, but I'm going to pace myself and save the pizza for after the show because this is a big part of the game. I am going to put the plate up, though. I am going to put the plate up while we go to a commercial.
You are limiting yourself. You should be able to do
I'll eat more pizza off the air, but I am going to pace myself, Joey, so that I don't, like...
You need to be able to do both at once.
I ate 4 pieces of pizza. I shouldn't have to eat a 5th or 6th piece. I ate 4 pieces. I'm going to eat the other 4 pieces after the show ends, but I just feel like I should pace myself. There's only 8 pieces of pizza in the box. I ate half of the pizza. Half of it's already gone.
That's it?
You seem disappointed by the lack of progress on my...
The NFL draft night, I routinely eat 2 full pizzas on night 1. So, you're rookie numbers.
It's like that scene of The Wolf of Wall Street where Matthew McConaughey goes, "Those are rookie numbers in this racket."
Those are rookie numbers, dude. Rookie numbers. When I was 360-some pounds, I was eating 4 pizzas on NFL draft night 1. Okay. And then, as a slimmer guy, I'm still eating 2 pizzas.
Yep.
Your rookie numbers. Rookie Chris. You gotta upgrade.
Yeah, and the draft is going to be in Green Bay this year. The 2026 draft is going to be in Pittsburgh.
Well, you have practice time. You have practice time. Get that pizza in your belly. And get your practice in.
I'm going to be coding and I'm going to be updating the ticker because we had we updated the news ticker for the MLS draft. We're probably going to update the ticker for the NFL draft once the draft order is finalized. Probably just update that for day 1.
NFL draft, you're going to be about 15 pounds heavier. Oh, pizza.
Yep, we'll see. But yeah, Seth Hernigan here stays in the game, and despite the 2-minute warning, and he throws a completion to Jack Beck for a gain.
Beck is just amazing.
Yeah, Eric Edholm does have Gray Zabel going to the Texans at 25 in his mock on NFL.com. Eric Edholm. So he basically took your idea and ran with it.
I think Beck has been the player who has risen his draft stock most today because he has just been so good.
Yep.
I mean, I have him like a 5th round pick What do you have?
I have a 5th on Beck, but what if this game goes to overtime? Because if the American team ends up settling for a field goal, this game's going to end up in overtime, and we're still going to be on the air.
That would be interesting because then we were talking about Jackson Dart coming back in. Well, that might be the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, and Castro with a big tackle here. 149 left in this game, but the American team's only down. Yeah, I had a first-round grade on Castro pre-draft and still do have a first-round grade on Castro. He might go in the 2nd or 3rd round, but...
I love his sideline to sideline.
Yeah.
He is really athletic.
Yep. Tesla with 2 A's makes the catch.
I don't have a test.
The Arkansas receiver, Tesla. And it sounds like the national team's going to call a timeout to try to rattle the American team after the momentum Seth Hennigan's put together. And the national team will still have 1 timeout even if the American team scores. But coaches do that sometimes when they see a player who's got a lot of momentum. They want to try to rattle him.
Oh, man. Joe plays punter. I mean, that was a route he bringing right there.
This CFL QB is the best one there. What the F, Charlie? Figures. Ugh, man.
That was a great route that was run. He went right in there, settled down in the open spot because he saw nobody was there, and then finishes right after he caught the ball. That was a great job.
Yep.
Right there on that wheel route. I mean, wasn't even really a wheel route. That's the way he did it. It looked like a wheel route. Okay, maybe I didn't give this quarterback enough credit. He's rocking it out right now. What are all these yellow streaks going across this line?
Yep. First down. And there's a minute left. It's 1st and goal. It sounds like the American team is going to try to get a touchdown and leave as little time on the clock as possible for the national team, which isn't a bad strategy at this point in the game.
Now, the American team, I mean, the quarterback for the American team, we might have been wrong about him getting the shot that he's got. So let's see if he can finish it off.
Yeah, it's 1st and goal here, and I don't know if time ran out on the clock, but there's under a minute left, and it's 1st and goal here, so...
We'll figure it out.
And that's a big tackle there. They got to quickly spike the ball here, under 30 seconds. You don't want to spike it too early, but they got to play with a little bit more. Oh, that was an incomplete pass. So there, the clock just stops, or the ref stopped the clock. The national team calls a second timeout on 2nd and goal. So
My app just decided to start loading again.
So the national team burns their last timeout with 29 seconds left. Tanner Engstrand is the Jets' new offensive coordinator. Tanner Engstrand. Tanner Engstrand's the Jets' new offensive coordinator. I'm gonna look at Tanner Engstrand. Tanner Engstrand was on the Lions. He was on the Lions last year with Aaron Glenn, and he was the passing game coordinator for the Lions. So the Lions passing game coordinator gets promoted to offensive coordinator. Antoine Randall L or Keenan McCardell, whichever one of them was with the Lions, got promoted to passing game coordinator with the Jets. And Steve Wilkes is the Jets defensive coordinator, while Aaron Glenn is just the head coach. So yeah, Engstrand, the Lions passing game coordinator, is the Jets' new offensive coordinator. 3rd and goal with 11 seconds left. Two big plays coming up here. Castro with a nice job in coverage. Alabama tight end was hoping for a flag, but that's not the case, and it'll come down to 4th and goal with 7 seconds left.
I say clock, and then just go back into fucking shotgun like clocking. It doesn't even matter. Show what the fundamentals of the game. Get your ass back in shotgun. Red. Oh shit.
All comes down to this. Hennigan, 4th and goal, pressured, touchdown to Jack Beck with 1 second left on the clock. 1 second left. What a finish. They're saying time ran out, and the coaches are on the field. They're celebrating with Beck.
It doesn't fucking matter if the play actually got off before time ran out. Nobody's going to give a shit.
Even the Texas mascot is trying to celebrate with the American team. He's trying to celebrate. So even the mascots are trying to get in on the American team.
He's probably seen it.
Yeah. Jack Beck caught the game-winning touchdown.
I want to see this, and again, you've already seen it. I want to see how this shit goes down. Oh, that was a great shot of sideline. They should have done more with that sideline. Such a great shot. Oh, hell, that was a horrible play fake. A great pass and a great route. Horrible play fake. No, the ball was away with 2 seconds left. I don't see how anything could have happened.
They're just calling the game final.
That's great, because that was exactly what should happen. I feel great for that quarterback, because that may have been the greatest moment of his career, and maybe put him into the 6% of the current conversation. So I feel great for him too. Besh. Beck was the best receiver in this game.
Yeah, Jack Beck. He was amazing in this game.
I don't believe anybody can even come close. He dominated this game. Start to finish.
So Pelissero's interviewing the Browns special teams coordinator, and the Troy and LSU mascots are trying to taunt each other, slap the shit out of each other, and steal the spotlight away from the Browns special teams coordinator, Bubba Ventrone.
Bubba was the best special teams player in the NFL for many years. And he earned his spot as special teams coordinator and even elevated himself to one of the best special teams coordinators in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
He earned, as much as I hate him for what he did last year, he earned this spot.
Yep.
Do not, as he does not deserve to have a bunch of bitches in the background trying to take his spotlight.
Yeah, freaking mascots are trying to bitch slap each other and take his spotlight away, and now the Auburn and Clemson mascots want to try to steal attention from him.
He earned this. Yeah.
Mascots, quit being assholes and quit stealing the spotlight from Bubba Ventrone. It's not cool. It really is not cool.
Especially when his son is right there beside him. He says, "I'm around the son." His son has been seen as one of the top 3 teams in the country, and he's got his arm around his son, and these fucking mascots are like, you know what, Bubba, you don't mean anything, your son doesn't mean anything, it's all about us. It's like, fuck you kids.
You know, the mascots are taking a perfectly wholesome father-son moment, and they're deciding to be assholes and ruin it.
Absolutely. It's like, we're going to hear more.
The only mascot who restrained himself from the Bubba Ventrone interview was the Reese's mascot at the Senior Bowl, the Reese's mascot. So I give the Reese's mascot credit for restraining himself. I can't say the same about the collegiate mascots.
And like, despite my appreciation for Bubba Ventrone as a player, I hope his son is a 4 or 5-star recruit and just walks shit out simply because those fucking mascots tried to ruin that moment between father and son. I hope he sees the Brian Urlacher type player. I hope.
And now the Reese's mascot, after we praised him for his restraint, is trying to ruin the Jack Beck interview. Yeah, the Reese's mascot. We praised him for restraining himself from Bubba Ventrone, and now he's interrupting Jack Beck in his moment. So that, I guess I have to take back everything I said about the Reese's mascot having restraint. I guess I have to take that back.
Well, Mitch did have a very attractive young lady with a crown on his arm, so...
Is that the Jubilee girl?
I don't know, but I cannot, feel bad for him in that situation.
Nope.
Because tonight, he's probably going to have a queen he's probably going to have a queen with him. I can't feel too bad for him in that situation.
Yep.
And is he going to really feel bad at the end of the day?
Nope.
Exactly.
And there you see him getting the Reese's Award and a hug from Jim Nagy, and you're also seeing some other people that have media passes interviewing players like ETN if I know any of these guys or any of these guys, because I've gone to both the Senior Bowl game and I've gone to the practice. I went to just the practices the COVID year, but I went to the game in 2020. I went to the game.
Yeah, and I want to go to the game and cover it. It's just the situation has not presented itself for me at this point. But it is one of the things that I think that would be incredible for not only myself, but for you as well.
I've gone to 2 Senior Bowls. I've gone to 2 Senior Bowls. I was going to go to...
For us to be able to cover it as a tandem.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That'd be a great thing. Things like this are getting closer. And I'm not going to disclose a lot of reasons why. But shit's happening.
Yep.
And the Senior Bowl is happening.
Yep.
Even if that is going to bone a woman with a crown tonight. Hopefully he doesn't bone Navy.
And then the Jack Beck was just money. Jack Beck.
He is the best player in this game. He is the best player in this game. So,
I think his parents are hugging him.
Chris, what are your final thoughts on the game?
I thought it was a very entertaining game. Probably right down to the wire is just in terms of excitement level. This is one of the more exciting Senior Bowls, just in terms of the finishes. Maybe not in terms of star power, but in terms of overall finishes and the game coming down to the last second. This was probably the closest game all year, because I don't think there was a game in the NFL regular season this year that was decided on the final play with 1 second left. I mean, there were game-winning field goals, but game-winning touchdowns, I don't think there were.
Yeah, for me, it was all about the individual.
And now the mascots are trying to invade Tom Pelissero's personal space like they want to have a party with him. And Pelissero's just smiling, brushing it off like it's no big deal, which says a lot about how tough Pelissero is.
Yeah, good for Pelissero. That's just a bunch of...
Because there's like 8 mascots ganging up on Pelissero like he's defenseless. And it's like, it's not cool, bro. 8 mascots. This is not a bukkake, okay? That's not what this is. This is Senior Bowl. It's a family moment. Let these people, the players, media reporters, coaches have their moments. Okay? Let them have their moments, mascots. They got rid of the mascots during the COVID year. I personally wouldn't mind if they got rid of the mascots at all of them for next year with all the shit they've pulled today. Don't get rid of them permanently. Just give them a 1-year suspension. I feel like the mascots need it at this point.
I'm good with mascots during the regular season and during the playoffs. During the Senior Bowl and shit, no.
Because when I was at the 2020 Senior Bowl, they had all the mascots. They even had the Oklahoma State mascot with the gun in front of kids, like with the toy gun in front of kids. And it's like, no, you need to set boundaries with these mascots.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
And the other mascots, they didn't want to take a picture of me. They thought I was too grown up. The TCU mascot, to his credit, did take a picture with me, won the mascot race in 2020, but I don't see the TCU mascot here, and I see a bunch of other mascots that are just immature compared to the TCU mascot.
If they ain't your two grown up, anyone dare say if they saw me there.
The Texas mascot was one of those mascots that blew me off at the 2020 Senior Bowl. The Texas Longhorns mascot.
I tell the Texas mascot, Motherfuckers almost not coming. And if you don't want to jump, I will throw you. I will make sure you do a fucking swan dive and Jeff Hardy be like, damn, that's an awesome swan dive.
Oh shit. That was funny.
You don't want to say, I'm at the age. You may be a young asshole. I'm at the age, I say, do not fuck with me with a lot of this shit. If you don't want to be around me, don't talk to me. You talk to me, you might not like what you hear. And if you say you don't want to take my picture, I'm going to tell you which bridge to jump off. Because I'm going to whoop your ass otherwise.
Yep. That was just.
And, this is what happens when you get older.
Yep.
You don't want to deal with this shit. Leave these young kids alone. You know what? I won't even tell them I'm going to whoop your ass. I'm going to tell them I'm going to outdrink your ass. So get your ass a bottle of whiskey. Bring it to me. And we're going to see how long you last.
Yeah, I agree with your idea. Let's get rid of the Senior Bowl mascot races in the morning. Let's have the mascots do like a drinking game on Friday night when the music's playing in Mobile. I think that's more appropriate for the mascots. They can have their own event. It'll be a drinking game. It'll be on a Friday night before the game.
Yeah, I have reconsidered my positions. I have drank more than you. I have drank more than all those guys. I have drank more than any mascot out there. I have drank more than most freaking crap kids out there combined. Hey, you mascots want to dismiss me? Bring y'all alcohol, and we'll see who is left standing. And then you'll get a much.
Sebastian the Hurricane did the Lambeau leap during the Senior Bowl game while QBs were on the field. At least he didn't do it during a touchdown. I give him props for doing that. I also give him props for not doing that during a touchdown to steal the spotlight away from the players. I don't think Sebastian the Hurricane got into any of the players or coaches' personal space either.
I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift as an artist. You know, if he came around during the early mid-90s, she would be middle of the road artist. She wouldn't be looked at like she is now. But for the love of crap, I would love to hang out with her. I love to drink with her. She looks like somebody she can hold her liquor. I'd be like, okay.
Well, Swift has these 4th of July parties, and they are at a location in Rhode Island or Connecticut. The house that she has the 4th of July's parties at. There's an article about it on the internet earlier this week. So, 4th of July parties.
She wants to bring a Kelsey to Jacksonville, Florida, hang out with the Scotters down there. It's like, all right, I don't like your music. But man, you guys seem like the coolest people on the planet.
Well, they are the coolest people on the planet.
You know your sports? I'm all in.
Yep.
Hey, there's something about being cool people that are good to others, and can drink, and quite frankly, I'll drink both of them. And I would look forward to drinking both of them.
Yep. Dylan, yeah, so What else should we say before we wrap this up? Because I'm going to wrap it up on Talk Shoot.
Right now, I think we covered everything. The game was great. Situation. I think it's 550.
Yeah, it's 550.
I don't think there's anything left to be said. We said it during broadcast.
We said it during the broadcast. I just ended the show on Talk Shoe. We're still technically on Restream. I will check my text from William, but I'm pretty certain he's calling it a day too. Yeah, Cooper Flagg is going to be a star. So I think Wes got a picture with Cooper Flagg. I think he might be at the Duke North Carolina game tonight. All right, so on that note, we will sign off. We'll have a shorter show next Saturday, back at our usual 10 a.m. time, Super Bowl preview show, and then we're done. And then we're done with. Oh yeah, we got to preview the Bill. We got to preview the Bills and Commanders too. So for the off season,
I need to get my pizza.
Go get your pizza, Joey.
Guess what? We're coming off the Senior Bowl. We got the fucking Royal Rumble coming up, boys. My favorite pay-per-view of the year, the Royal Rumble, but it's not a pay-per-view anymore. It is exclusive content type thing. I think that they call it nowadays.
Yeah, and if you guys want to watch hockey tonight, the Winnipeg Jets and Washington Capitals, the two best teams in each conference, that is on NHL Network tonight. So, two best teams in each conference, maybe a Stanley Cup preview. That is on NHL Network at 7 tonight. And the Super Bowl reruns are also on NFL Network. So, there's a lot going on tonight.
There is, and that's why I'm glad that the Senior Bowl ended when it did, because it gives me a chance to go get food for.
Yeah, I remember one year the Senior Bowl started at 4. I think the 2015 Senior Bowl, the first Senior Bowl we covered when a Yale running back won MVP, started at 4:30 Eastern, and then the game didn't end until like 7 or 8, and it's like. That's
it was like the Royal Rumble was on, and other sporting events was on, and everything else was on, and we're like, the fuck, when's this gonna end? Like you started way too late.
And then they moved it back to like 2:30, 3:30. And that was good. And then they moved it to 1 last year, but then they moved it from 1 to 2:30 because they thought 1 was a little too early. So yeah, I'm good either way.
That's a nice medium. It's a nice medium. I can give them that. It's a nice medium.
Yeah.
So I will give them credit. They did a good job creating a nice medium on the time.
And the keys to next week's Super Bowl. Can the Chiefs' interior line stop Jalen Carter? Because Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, neither one's given up a sack in the last 2 years at center and right guard. And can the Chiefs limit Saquon Barkley to under 20 carries? Those will be talking points on next week's show. I'm not going to dive into them.
I will give another talking point real quick, and that is the Kareem Hunt talking point. Drafted to...
I did a simulation on Super Bowl 59. The Chiefs defeated the Eagles 21-10, and Kareem Hunt was the Super Bowl MVP in that simulation.
Here's the thing, Chris. Here's the process of that. The drafted by the Chiefs, leading the league in rushing, having legal issues, and being outgunned, getting a second chance at the Browns, end up becoming the leading touchdown, one of the biggest touchdown scorers in the NFL. Being on the couch, he was contemplating retirement. His best friend in the NFL, Nick Chubb, goes down with a devastating knee injury. He comes up and says, I'm doing this for my friend. Becomes reminds people why he is one of the leading touchdown scorers in the league. Then he goes out. He's not re-signed by the team that drafted him and then released him. And he is once again one of the leading touchdown scorers in the NFL. And now you're walking into the Super Bowl.
DeAndre Hopkins is also playing for a first Super Bowl.
Well, DeAndre Hopkins doesn't have the story that Kareem Hunt does. Kareem Hunt has a story that is worthy of a couple of documentaries. Not every documentary, but a couple.
Yeah, but Hopkins has been in the league a lot longer, so you do kind of feel for him.
I feel for both those guys. I hope both of them get a touchdown. But if Kareem Hunt gets a touchdown, you're going to be looking at a full circle story because of everything he went through, starting with the Chiefs, and it's all circling back around.
Basically, I'll say this. If the Chiefs hold Saquon Barkley to under 20 carries and they keep Jalen Carter from getting any pressures on Mahomes, it's going to be very hard for the Eagles to win.
20 carries for Saquon Barkley is minimal. I mean, now if they hold him to under 120 yards, now we can work with that.
Yeah, but if they hold him to under 20 carries and they win, I don't think they will hold him to under 20 carries either, Joey. But let's say for hypothetical purposes they do. Let's say for hypothetical purposes they do and they hold Jalen Carter to no quarterback hurries. It's going to be very hard for the Eagles to win in that scenario unless Jalen Hurts is better than he was in Super Bowl 57. And I think it's almost mathematically impossible for Hurts to be better than he was in Super Bowl 57. That's all. I'm not saying he can't do it, but it's going to be very hard for him to best that performance in Super Bowl 59. He's certainly capable of it.
I'm not going to say that's impossible.
But it is a difficult situation.
Yeah, because I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan. I have been since his days at Alabama. And so I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's going to be tough. The Chiefs defense has been tough. None of us are going to deny that. So it's going to be hard. I think it's more plausible that Hunt has a touchdown rushing more than Hurts has a touchdown rushing, simply because the Chiefs, not because of anything the Eagles defense is doing, but because the Chiefs defense has been that good. And that's not unreasonable.
Yeah, the simulator had the Chiefs winning 21-10. Kareem Hunt, 19 carries, 80 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown, and 1 reception on 2 targets for 27 yards with 107 total yards.
And that was because I've made a couple bets on the Super Bowl. That was one of them. Was that Hunt gets 79.5 yards. He gets 80 yards.
And the simulator did have Kareem Hunt as the Super Bowl MVP. So I'm just saying.
Damn. Now, I'm just talking about redemption and a great story. If he gets Super Bowl MVP,
like the simulator predicted.
That blows what I was saying completely out of the water. I mean, because I was just like, oh, he's going to have a great game, and his story will be complete, and he gets a touchdown, and everything is great. And the simulator is like, no, hold the phone. He gets Super Bowl MVP. And I'm like,
they had Saquon Barkley finishing with 15 carries, 75 yards, no touchdowns. 75 or 72 yards and no touchdowns on 15 carries. Barkley's output's going to be bigger than that, I think. I disagree with the simulator on that, but hey, the simulator hasn't been wrong yet.
I agree. I actually did a parlay. Let me pull it up real quick.
It is 6 p.m. We gotta end soon. I'm gonna end the live stream, but you can tell me this on the air. You can tell me this off the air.
I just wanna go real quick, with my parlay.
All right.
Because it is a 3-bet parlay for the Super Bowl. The odd even total points is the total over under the 48.5 points. Chiefs at negative 2.5. I did another one. Yes, Kareem Hunt anytime touchdown, 1 touchdown. And then I did another 4-bet parlay. The Eagles cover a 7.5 point spread. This was my first one. So I
think the spread's only like 1.5 for Kansas City. I think it's very small right now.
Yeah, because I made this bet like a week and a half ago. The over was 53.5. The over field goals made was 3.5. The Chiefs to win. So it kind of shows how much Vegas has changed from my first 4-bet parlay.
All of the favorites, it's weird because all of the Super Bowls the Chiefs were underdogs in, they won. The only Super Bowl besides this one where they were favorites was against Tampa, and they got their ass kicked in that Super Bowl. So, but I think the Chiefs have won enough as underdogs to where they've earned the right to be favorites over the Eagles. Anything you want to add before we wrap up shop this week? Because I'm at the point where I'm going to end the stream.